that summer night, it was always a beer man from high school. He was like, he's the most reliable player in the game. His name's it's ridiculous. Beer that Frost real refreshment and tips, no favorites.
Frost Beer Coors Light, world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, going on drinking responsibility.
I call this one best girlfriend ever. It had been a long day, and an even longer week, so I headed toward the kitchen, refreshment I didn't see. But after swinging open the French, I saw the most horrific sight. Not a single cold beverage, not a single Coors Light. I grabbed my keys. It was time to hit the store, but stopped when I heard a knock at the door. It was my girlfriend, bearing gifts of Coors Light. Best girlfriend ever? God damn right.
Frost Brewed Coors Light, world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Colorado, drinking responsibility. Why do we love baseball? Is it the uniforms, the pace of the game, the mascots? Could be. Or could it be that what we really love is that baseball reminds us how we can all come out ahead when we work together, just like a good team? At Prudential Annuities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things can happen. That's why each year we uphold a commitment to helping charitable causes in our community by pitching in financial resources and by enabling Prudential Annuities employees to help others through volunteer work. From conducting mentoring programs and helping homeless shelters to supporting health awareness and food banks, Prudential Annuities is more than a big company in Fairfield County. We're a big part of the community too. Prudential Annuities, going to bat for the community. The Prudential Insurance Company of America, New York, New Jersey, and its affiliates. Prudential Annuities is a business of Prudential Financial Inc.
We welcome you to Sovereign Bank Stadium, the site of Bridgeport Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. I am Perry Miles, the Bluefish, taking on the Revolution for the second time in this series. It was a fantastic start to the series for Bridgeport. 8 runs scored yesterday after coming off a victory against Long Island, which they scored 8 runs as well. They have won 4 consecutive games, and this is the one of the best starts that they have ever had in their franchise history. They are hoping for more as the Bluefish will be throwing left-hander Isaac Hess on the hill. The left-hander was very successful in acting as the piggyback to Paulo Segura during his first start. Now that the 5-man rotation has extended that way due to the number of games that are being played, the left-hander Hess has been installed into the starting rotation. Meanwhile, for the York Revolution, it is former Lancaster Barnstormers reliever and starter Junior Novoa, who has made all of his appearances out of the bullpen this year, like their starter yesterday, Omar Javier, who picked up yesterday's loss. I had a chance to talk with yesterday's victor, Matt Pike, and we'll have him next right here on the pregame show on BridgeportBluefish.com. I am Perry Miles.
Why do we love baseball? Is it the uniforms, the pace of the game, the mascots? Could be. Or could it be that what we really love is that baseball reminds us how we can all come out ahead when we work together, just just like a good team. At Prudential Annuities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things can happen. That's why each year we uphold the commitment to helping charitable causes in our community by pitching in financial resources and by enabling Prudential Annuities employees to help others through volunteer work. From conducting mentoring programs and helping homeless shelters to supporting health awareness and food banks, Prudential Annuities is more than a big company in Fairfield County. We're a big part of the community too. Prudential Annuities, going to bat for the community. The Prudential Insurance Company of America, Newark, New Jersey, and its affiliates. Prudential Annuities is a business of Prudential Financial Inc.
At Miller Lite, we believe if you're not choosing a light beer with more taste, you need to man up, not man down. Because up is way better than down. You don't tell someone sad that you're down. What's down, dog? A steamy pile and you just stepped in it. Your girlfriend's not wearing a push-down bra. It's called gravity, Isaac Nitwit. Can I be down front with you? All this down talk is bringing me down. So don't man down, man up, and choose a light beer with more taste. Triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Here on Bridgeport. Today's weight pitcher, Matt Mike.
It was a bit warmer than I had expected. We had a little cold front pass through Bridgeport. I wasn't sure, how far that cold front extended, but we came out here yesterday. I believe it was around 86 degrees at game time, and that can take its toll on you, wear you out quickly. It's still early in the season. We kind of have a short training camp here in the Atlantic League. You try your best to be prepared on your own coming into the season. But fatigue just got the better part of me last night. Well, it's always good to have some early season success as a team. We seem to really get along well in the clubhouse. The hitters have really turned things on the past few games, and the pitching's been solid. We've had pretty good pitching the last couple seasons, and that hasn't changed Yeah, I grew up playing all the sports. Really, I played in our neighborhood. We had a lot of athletes, and we played football, basketball, hockey in the wintertime on the frozen lakes. Basketball, baseball, wiffle ball, tennis rackets we did it all, which I really believe as a youngster growing up, doing as many sports as possible just leads you to have better body awareness, better athleticism. I think I'd have to attribute a lot of my mental toughness to just, my professional career, the way it's gone for me. The long bus trips early on in my career, playing out in the Pioneer League, were challenging. You're on the bus all night, and you don't have the best food to eat. You don't get paid real well, and it's a struggle, and it can be a battle daily to be properly prepared, I guess. So having gone through that, now with the shorter bus trips and kind of the better stadiums and the more access we have to weights and meals, it's a better environment. And so I think the mental toughness early in my career has kind of led me to this point now where when I get in a little bit of trouble on the mound, I'm able to deal with it better.
to a game without
Sure. I really enjoy getting a good sweat. I know, I know it's funny to say that, but it's hard work to build up a real good sweat. It's definitely not easy, but the way it makes the body feel when you're that warm and you sweat, you just feel a lot looser. A lot of the tightness is gone. So really, the running program is the main thing you want to make sure you're doing following a day of fishing. Yeah, I like to stay relaxed, especially when I'm at the field. It's a beautiful day, 80 degrees here. Sun shining through. It's just every time I step out on the baseball field, it's just pure joy. I definitely wasn't thinking about wearing the pink shirt. However, I was tempted to make the venture from left field out to the right center field warning track and join in with the ladies, but I thought better of it. Thank you, Perry. Thanks for having me.
The Gear Shop at the ballpark in Harbor Yard is your one-stop shop for everything bluefish. Take a break from the action and check out all your bluefish souvenir favorites. From men's and women's t-shirts and a wide selection of home, road, and other trendy hats, to Fear the Fin rally towels, team photos, and commemorative baseball. The Gear Shop has it all. Don't forget about our kids' wear section, game-worn jerseys, even your own stuffed BB the Bluefish, and more. The Bluefish Gear Shop is located on the third base side of the concourse level at the ballpark at Harbor Yard and is open on game day. Come and browse all your favorite Bluefish apparel from an hour before the first pitch until the final out is made. Can't make it to the ballpark on game day but still want to support Fairfield County's only professional baseball team? Then check out the new Bluefish online store at BridgeportBluefish.com or call 203-345-4800 to schedule an appointment. The Bluefish Gear Shop, perfect gifts for all ages and all sizes. Located at the ballpark at Harbor Yard, 500 Main Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Miller Lite wants you to win the greatest weekend that never happened. The ultimate Vegas weekend for you and a buddy. Just collect Miller Lite taste points for your chance to win one of 100 Vegas trips being given away this summer for the big weekend. So grab Miller Lite and seize the summer at tastepoints.com. It's that easy, and it never happened. It's Miller time. No purchase necessary. Up to legal U.S. residents 21 or older. Void in California and where prohibited. Sweepstakes begins 5/1/12 and ends 8/1/12. For details on when or include official rules, go to tastepoints.com. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility. Miller time. Don't check your rest or follow up with your supervisor. Because Miller time has nothing to do with the land and everything to do with food. Miller Lite is proof for the guys who are proud to call you brothers. We'll always talk you out of getting a full on. Never talk. During a backswing. You got your brothers and my beer that tastes like beer should. It's not just a beer time. It's Miller time. Bring your responsibility. Miller time. It's a rallying cry to the men around you. The ones that know your brothers.
We welcome you back to the Bluefish Broadcast Network. Perry Miles here in the 6:30 special, the York Revolution and the Bridgeport Bluefish in game number 2 of this 3-game series. Bridgeport won the first game last night by a score of 8-4, led by the aforementioned Matt Pike, who had an opportunity to interview yesterday. We also had an opportunity to talk with Prentice Redmond earlier today about the way that he's been performing of late and the continuity that this team has throughout this organization, especially with the leadership qualities that both Redmond and Joey Gathright exhibit on a night-to-night basis. Let's take a look at Redmond about the outfield tandem.
You and our Joey Gathright have been very good in the outfield. What kind of communication goes on? You and our Joey Gathright have been very good in the outfield. What kind of communication goes on out there to be able to avoid each other, considering all three of you?
We talk non-stop. Whether we've been left or right, talking or just joking around, we talk non-stop. We have fun.
Now, you played Big League Baseball before. You dominated last year, right? Other than these numbers, what do you provide for a major league? Fuck out
Experience. Because I didn't really gain like my experience my first year. I learned a lot. It's learned easier. You play, you learn something new. You have to learn experience. You know how to fit into the house. How to get set up. Just learn more about the game. I let my teammates know what I think was going to happen.
I'm sure you learned plenty from your brother Type Redmond out playing in the varsity. I'm sure you learned plenty from your experience with your friends, right?
And we think what happened.
You had struggled in your previous at-bats. Was there anything?
We welcome you back to the Bluefish Broadcast. We also had an opportunity to talk about Prentice Redmond and what it means to play on this team, and ultimately how he was able to hit that home run. Both defensively and offensively did a solid job in yesterday's contest by hitting the 2-run home run.
You had struggled in your previous at-bats. Was there anything different about that at-bat?
I wasn't really struggling. I was just last way being, I was up, balls and no strikes. I got to get the way I wanted. But before that AB, I was going to get my back help. Really hit. When it came to me, said, hey, it could be ladder up. And I don't want you to go get it, sit back, and let the side come into your zone, and then just go hit that the right way, and let it fly, and it's going to go. I would say it don't always happen that way. Sometimes you might get that big, but the results don't happen like it did. So you kind of call that like a profit. How do you know? How do you know how it will turn out?
Has the opportunity, great opportunity of starting with Prentice Redmond. We thank him for joining on the broadcast, but the Bluefish starting lineup is as such. Kennard Jones is going to lead off and play left field. Hideo Lopez is the shortstop batting second, while Prentice Redmond bats third and plays right field. Luis Lopez is the third baseman batting fourth. Ramon Vasquez is the designated hitter batting fifth. Brock Peterson, the first baseman, batting sixth. Colin DeLone gets an opportunity in center field. He'll be batting in the seventh spot. Luis Rodriguez bats eighth and does the catching, while Mr. Eddie Rogers is batting ninth and playing second base behind Isaac Hess. The left-hander has pitched in independent baseball throughout his career with the Mexican League and then also in the Frontier League, among others, and he's done quite well at that position. Last start, 4 innings of no-run baseball, picking up the victory for the Bluefish in their run against the Camden River Sharks. Bridgeport has won 4 consecutive games, and this is one of the finest starts that this team has ever gotten out to. Going into today, first place in the Liberty Division standings, 1 game ahead of Southern Maryland, Long Island, Camden, 2 games behind the Bridgeport Bluefish heading into today. Meanwhile, the York Revolution, this is one of their worst starts. 2 wins to 6 losses. Their offense has not gotten going. They are the worst hitting team in the league. They are 2 games behind the Sugarland Skeeters and the Somerset Patriots. 1 game behind the Lancaster Barnstormers. It is early though, only 8 games in, as they'll feature this starting lineup. Scott Grimes leads off. He'll play center field. Stephen Douglas bats in the 2-hole and plays left. Ramon Castro switches from third to first. He is batting third. Chris Nowak switches with Castro. He moves from first to third. Michael Hernandez in right field bats fifth. He had a 2-run shot yesterday along with Nowak. Hernandez in the 5th and Nowak goes in the 9th. Andres Perez, the former member of the Fish, he's at second base batting 6th, while James Shanks, the designated hitter, batting 7th. Salvador Paniagua continues to start behind the dish. He's batting 8th, and Danny Gonzalez rounds out the Bluefish rotation as Bridgeport comes in against Junior Novoa, the former AAA player from the Syracuse Chiefs, as he grew up through the Nationals organization. The left-handed pitcher out of the Dominican Republic was signed by the Chicago White Sox as a undrafted free agent back in 2003. Heading into this season, 22 wins. And, well, last season, 22 wins, 38 losses. He did quite well a year ago with the Lancaster Barnstormers, as the Bluefish are looking to take him down the same way that they took down Omar Javier. The same could be said for the York Revolution. They had limited success against Matt Pike. They're hoping for more of that today against Mr. Isaac Hess. When we come back on the Bluefish broadcast, we will have first pitch from the ballpark at Sovereign Bank Stadium. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. You can listen to us on BridgeportBluefish.com.
Shark tooth, screwdriver, golf tee for the golf trip that you never went golfing on, growth one, tuning fork, fork fork, drumsticks, a motel key. Let's not talk about the motel key. Needle-nose pliers, a spark plug, a domino, a house key. There's lots of things you can use to open a new Miller Lite Punch Top can, but you'll always get the same thing, a smooth pour with less club. However you punch it, it's new in time. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility. Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion.
And I think
Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion. Just getting your road trip back on track. Whatever it might be, there are always decisions that always find exactly what you're looking for. Visit Whiting.com and Whiting.com like a home. Shark tooth, screwdriver, skeleton key, golf tee from the golf trip that you never went golfing on, grill fork, tuning fork, fork fork. The lucky fishing lure you snagged Alan. Sorry, Alan. Drumsticks, chopsticks for replacing that dead Dallas Space flight attendant. A motel key. Let's not talk about the motel key. The spark plug, domino, a house key. How do these things make Miller Lite from a can even better? Find out May 2012. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
A sizzling, succulent filet mignon, scrumptious salmon Florentine, savory tweed grilled pork chops. Getting hungry? Your table will wait at the Park City Grill, Fairfield County's elegant new dining spot from the beautifully renovated Bridgeport Holiday Inn. Comfortable, warm, and inviting. Park City Grill offers a world-class dining experience at reasonable prices. Come to the Park City Grill, 1070 Main Street in the Bridgeport Holiday Inn. Take I-95 exit 27A to exit 2. Plenty of free, secure parking. We welcome you back to Sovereign Bank Stadium, the site of Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. The Revolution did not have much success yesterday against Matt Pike as he served 5 innings and gave up 2 earned runs. as Junior Novoa is hoping to avenge his predecessor with Omar Javier. Yesterday, Javier just struggled. 4 innings, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, so 6 base hits. York did not come out strong yesterday, and they've lost 6 of the first 8 games, including the 3 out of 4 in Sugar Land. We will now direct our attention to behind home plate, where the national anthem will be performed by the York Christian School, the Christian School of York. A near-capacity crowd at Sovereign Bank Stadium as the Christian School of York just performed the national anthem for the band, as the kids made their way onto the field as well. They have that every single day, kids coming out to the ballpark and going behind each position to their favorite player. Some of them have a long way to go. They have to run to center field or even left field. That's the way that the players are positioned, and where Junior Novoa stands, he's positioned at the pitcher's mound today. The former relief pitcher for the Lancaster Barnstormers turned starter has done a solid job in his career, a 4.26 ERA during his minor league career, but in independent baseball, the first year was with Lancaster, 5 wins and 5 losses, an ERA of more than 5. So the lefty has struggled a bit as soon as he made it here. And the York Revolution, they've lost 6 of the first 8. Bridgeport, on the opposite end, have won 6 out of 8. Junior Novoa will have to face these 3 batters to start off: Kennard Jones, Pedro Lopez, and Prentice Redmond. 1, 2, and 3 in the order. Left field, shortstop, and the right fielder. The one player that gets the day off is Joey Gathright. He's been tremendous as he was in the middle of a 7-game on-base streak, 7 out of the first 8 games that he's gotten on base. And the Bluefish left-handed hitter and the center fielder patrolled the outfield. The player that's taking his place as the captain of the outfield is Colin DeLome, who came up with a grand slam, which marked the first home run for the Bluefish this season. After he hit the home run, Eddie Rogers hit a home run that same day, and last night it was Prentice Redmond's turn. He said during the pregame show he almost felt like Willie Upshaw was a prophet, that he told him which pitch was coming, and he saw it coming, and it looked attractive to Redmond to hit out of the ballpark. Dan Lassard is skipping down the right field line as the first base coach. Willie Upshaw is the first base coach. The Lancaster Barnstormer is on the mound, the York Revolution pitcher currently, 82 2/3 innings last year, 99 hits for the lefty. We are underway with Kennard Jones stepping up to the plate. He leads the team in batting average and many of the other offensive categories, with the exception on the positive side of caught stealing. The first pitch is a fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Salvador Paniagua is the battery mate for Junior Novoa. Left to the right side of the infield. The next pitch is on the outside corner. For a called strike at 89 miles per hour. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chris Nowak is over at third base. Danny Gonzalez at shortstop. Andres Perez at second base. As the next offering is slapped down the left field line out of play. The count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ramon Castro makes a shift over to first. He's played some first base, but on this team, he's been mostly playing third base. Odd change for Andy Etchebarren, who decided to go with that lineup. Stephen Douglas is in left instead of James Shanks. The 1-2 dives inside to count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Scott Grimes over in center field, and Michael Hernandez, who made a big error in yesterday's game. He threw the ball to third. Ball trickled down the left field line past Castro. The run scored late in the contest. The 2-2 swung on and chopped to the right side. Perez gathers at second base and throws it to Castro, 1 away. A 4-3 put out for Pinard, and it brings Pedro Lopez to the plate. He's been mostly at the bottom of the lineup. Even so, he's been getting on base with the best of those in the Atlantic League. He leads the Bluefish in on-base percentage. He may not have a high average entering today, but he's getting on base more than 50% of the time. He's at .214 on the year. No homers and 1 RBI. The first pitch on its way, bunt shown, but pulled back, called a strike on the outside third. No balls and 1 strike. Last night it was hot and humid. Today it is still humid, not quite as unbearable as it was yesterday, although I'm sure the players love playing in that heat. The 0-1 is slapped foul down the first base side, close to the Revolution bullpen. One of the players just lifted his leg up to try to avoid baseball. You never want to get hit in the ankle. No balls and 2 strikes. Pedro Lopez, the interesting story about him may not be a positive one, if you will. Got struck in the face back in 2007 with the big league club in Cincinnati. He tried to recover from that. He was on the DL for nearly 2 months as the pitches popped up to the right side of the outfield. The second baseman makes the play as Andres Perez made his way over behind first base. 2 outs on the P4 to set up Prentice Redmond. Redmond, the right fielder, has been playing there all season, although he, like many of the Bluefish outfielders, can play every position. Colin DeLome, over the first 3 games or so, has played every outfield spot. Right field first, left field second. Makes his round in the rotation in center today. Redmond waits for the first pitch. Curveball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Bridgeport has not started off very well in first innings of ball games. They did not score yesterday. They were retired in order. But it's later on, second time around, as Redmond pops it up foul down the right field line, that they show their prowess. Especially when you have to go with guys like Luis Lopez and Ramon Vasquez, who've been getting on base almost every time they've been coming to the plate, especially Vasquez. 3 hits yesterday, and he's batting 5th in the lineup today. 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 men out. No score, top of the first. Novoa lifts and deals. Fastball dives to the dirt, could not be scooped up by Paniagua. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bridgeport in their teal uniforms with the gray bottoms, the blue stripe across the right side of the thigh running down towards the ankle. York Revolution in their home whites. The curveball slides high. 3 balls and 1 strike. Yesterday made this comment about one of the pitches provided from York's Omar Javier, that the curveball sometimes was easier to identify out of the arm. Most of the time rather difficult. The 3-1 fastball on the inside corner, 3 balls, 2 strikes. A lot of times minor league players will not make it through the ranks because of their inability to hit off-speed pitches. They wind up in independent baseball, or they have to take quite a bit of time to learn how to hit those types of pitches. The 3-2 is bounced foul to the left side. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Prentice Redmond identified the slider yesterday. He crushed it over that 50 feet 6-inch wall in left center field just before it goes down to about 9 feet high. Next pitch, swung on and yanked into left center field. It hits the gap. It is a base hit, cut off by Stephen Douglas in the gap to hold Prentice Redmond to a single. It hit the gap, but it's so shallow in the outfield that it was cut off in that area. As Stephen Douglas holds Prentice to a single to set up Luis Lopez. It is 300 feet down the left field line, but 50 feet 6 inches tall there. In left center, where the wall is only 8 to 9 feet high, it is about 345 feet. Very shallow. Right-handed hitters crush the ball in this park, or at least they feel like they can hit home runs all day in this park. The 2-out toss, fastball on the inside corner, called strike by Jeff Dugmere. No balls and 1 strike. Jeff Dugmere is behind the plate. Marty Bauer, who's the crew chief, is over at first base. He was at third base last night. And David Mills, who called balls and strikes yesterday, is over at third base. The 0-1. Fastball directed to the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. The outfield playing straight away for the Revolution. The corners a little bit further back with Castro holding the runner on at first. Everyone else up the middle playing deep. No balls and 2 strikes. Navarro stares in. Quick release. Pitch swung on and grounded to short. Handled by Danny Gonzalez as he rotates it to Andres Perez, the second baseman, covering for the final out of the frame. The 6-4 fielder's choice ends that inning. 1 hit in the frame. 1 runner left on. At the end of a half. No score from York. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on BridgeportBluefish.com.
It's a Coors Light summer, hot days all around. Backyard barbecues are where you'll be found. It gets pretty hot out, but you'll be alright because Coors are filled with ice cold Coors Light. You step outside and skirts galore. Beer garden for the ball game, that's what's in store. It's gonna be a scorcher, but that's no good sight. Refreshment awaits with true Coors Light.
At Miller Lite, we know there's only one thing baseball fans love as much as great Pilsner tastes, and that's rooting for the home team. Because home is way better than away. Away is not where the heart is. Bringing away to bacon. Why? Bacon is delicious. Away is where you hang your hat. You should be hung up by your underpinnings. So why root for the away team when you can root for the home team with a great Pilsner taste of Miller Lite? Triple House Food Miller Lite. Tastes great. So Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Advertising with the Bridgeport Bluefish is a sure way to hit a home run in your community. Since 1998, nearly 3 million fans have spun the turnstiles at the ballpark and Harbor Yard. Supporting their local team and Fairfield County's local businesses sponsoring the Bluefish is just the right thing to take your business in the direction you want. The proof is in the numbers. More than 70% of Bluefish partners renew their sponsorships annually. And the best part is, there are tons of ways to get involved. Billboards, in-game promotions, giveaways, fish fishing video board ads, radio spots, and much more. If the economy is sinking your business, it's time to get swimming with the Bluefish. To join the Bluefish, one of the sales representatives at 203-345-4800 for more information.
At Miller Lite, we know there's only one thing baseball fans love.
We welcome you back to the Bluefish broadcast. Noticeably shaken from the cannon shooting out of right center is a traditional part of the York Revolution start to the ball game, especially when the Revs get up to the plate, and also when they hit a home run. If the Bluefish do not want to be frightened, then the Bluefish will have to hold the Revolution without a home run tonight for the rest of the night. It happens at least one time each game after the top of the first has come to a close between the top and the bottom halves of the frame during the commercial break. Scott Grimes leads off against Isaac Hess, the left-hander. He lifts his leg in the southpaw, deals a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike at 86 miles per hour. No balls and 1 strike. Nobody out in the bottom of the first. Grimes did not do very well yesterday as the next pitch is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. He was 0 for 4 in yesterday's game with a couple of strikeouts. Former MVP from 2010 stares in for the sign. The next pitch is swung on and popped up foul. Hess quickly ahead at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Grimes, Stephen Douglas, Ramon Castro. Those 3 due up for the Revolution in the bottom half of the first inning. First pitch slated for 6:30. It happened a couple of minutes after that. The curveball's on the outside corner, called strike 3. Beautiful pitch by Hess. Grimes could not pull the trigger, even though you could tell about a couple of inches after he released it was going to be a curveball. Grimes anticipated fastball all the way. The first strikeout, the first out of the game for Isaac Hess to set up Stephen Douglas. Douglas has reached safely in 6 consecutive games. The 1-out pitch is swung on, 1 hop to second. Handled by Eddie Rogers, who throws to first. Brock Peterson catches it on the other side. 2 away on the 4-3. The defensive assignments for the Bluefish. Luis Rodriguez left yesterday's game after he got hit with the baseball. He continued, but was taken out due to precautionary measures. So Luis Rodriguez is back after taking the baseball to his thigh. Luis Lopez is over at third base. Pedro Lopez is at short. Eddie Rogers at second. Usually it's Pedro Lopez at second and Eddie Rogers at short. It's the other way around today. First pitch is a fastball to Castro outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Brock Peterson is over at first base. Left to right in the outfield, Kennard Jones, Colin Delhomme, and Prentice Redmond. As Delhomme is shifted slightly towards left center, the pitch is popped up foul to the right side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Castro is most likely the team leader for the Revolution. Whenever he gets going, the rest of the team follows suit. So far this season, Castro getting off to a sluggish start at 107. Pitch swung on and missed on a curve. 1 ball and 2 strikes. No homers and no ribbies for one of the best players in this league over the last couple of years, and began his Atlantic League career with the Newark Bears, believe it or not, now in the Can-Am League. The 1-2, fastball away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The shadows creeping towards the outfield a little bit at this point, as it's covering most of the infield. Shadows down the left field line as well. The 2-2, curveball swung on and foul tipped at the plate. Rodriguez slow to get up, but then winds up throwing the ball back to the pitcher. Catchers go through so much pain during the season. Cannot imagine what Rodriguez is going through. He trains for his catching by not throwing out base runners and not catching too many baseballs. The 2-2 is right there, strike 3. He does it by lifting things during the offseason, whether it be crates, cartons, as a worker in Binghamton, New York. When we come back on the Bluefish broadcast, top of the 2nd inning, no score from York. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
It's the crowded moment.
Michael Jackson talks about the baseball hall. Actually, with the history of the game, it's a distance or how society. Baseball and preserving history, honoring history, connecting generations. Visit Cooperstown at baseballhall.org. Advertising with the Bridgeport Bluefish is a sure way to hit a home run in your community. Since 1998, nearly 3 million fans have spun the turnstiles at the ballpark and Harbor Yard. Supporting their local team and Fairfield County's local businesses sponsoring the Bluefish is just the right thing to take your business in the direction you you want. The proof is in the numbers. More than 70% of Bluefish partners renew their sponsorships annually. And best part is, there are tons of ways to get involved. Billboards, in-game promotions, giveaways, fish pigeon video board ads, radio spots, and much more. If the economy is sinking your business, it's time to get swimming with the Bluefish. To join the Bluefish team now, call any of our front office sales representatives at 203-345-4800 for more information.
Bluefish Baseball is back on the air on BridgeportBluefish.com. Perry Miles here. Ramon Vasquez leads off by Brock Peterson and Colin DeLone. 5, 6, and 7 projected up in the Bluefish order in the top half of the second inning. One of the more unique promotions, rather than kids getting to run the base to beat everyone home, is the dog race. As the first pitch is a fastball planted on the inside corner, no balls and 1 strike. It was amusing. The dog ran from first to second to third and came home, touched the plate. Of course, there was a trainer, but who knows? Maybe the dog understood where to go, same way that humans do. As the curveball lands outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Humans know baseball from the age of 5. Sometimes they need to be encouraged at that age, but by the time you're 8, 9, and 10, you understand the importance of getting to the plate. 1-1, fastball inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. We've seen Junior Navola range anywhere from 88 to 90 today with his heater. But did not feature too many breaking pitches in this ball game, or even a changeup. The 2-1 fastball upstairs. The count runs to 3 balls and 1 strike. One of the more important elements to the Bluefish success has been their ability to work the counts. Now, yesterday, they only had 1 walk, but they had a lot of 2 and 3 ball counts in their favor. The 3-1 is a fastball high for ball 4. Ramon Vasquez works the first walk for the game for the Bluefish. And it brings up Brock Peterson. Last year, the most number of walks that the Bluefish had in any game was 8. This year, they've already eclipsed that mark 4 times. It shows you how much patience that this team has at the plate, and they're going to give opposing pitchers nightmares figuring out exactly where to pitch them, because whenever they've thrown strikes, Bridgeport has smacked it into the outfield. The curveball dances low, 1 ball and no strikes. The only player that may not be on that same wavelength at this point is Brock Peterson. He has been stymied at the plate, batting .043 on the season. His only hit accounted for his 500th career RBI. It was a line drive double to left center. Lou Ford for Long Island, their center fielder, sprinted forward, dove, and could not make the play. Rolled by him. Eventually, the corner outfielder had to recover as the pitch is stroked to the left of the second base bag towards the left of center for a base hit. Brock Peterson with his 2nd hit of the year. Maybe he'll get it going too. And boy, if he does, he is a big weapon towards the lower end of the middle of the order. He bats 6th almost every day, as there are runners at 1st and 2nd for Colin DeLone. This may be the most important batter in the lineup. He batted 2nd yesterday. The time before that, he batted 6th in the order. And he can provide tremendous power from the left side of the plate. First pitch, bunt attempt up the third base side. Navola struggles with it, bobbles, there is no play. The third baseman, Nowak, moved off the bag anticipating he would play the ball. Navola and Nowak did not communicate, and there was barely anybody at first base either to throw the baseball to. By the time Navola grabbed it, the base runner, Colin DeLone, was already 3/4 of the way down. There was no chance to get it. And it is a base hit. The bases are loaded for Luis Rodriguez. Nowak has not played too much third base for the Revs over the last couple of years. At least when they've played the Bluefish. Castro's been there. No error charged as the first pitch curveball settles low. The count 1 ball and no strikes. When you fall behind in the count, as mentioned on yesterday's broadcast, the umpire is not willing to expand the zone, meaning give the pitch 3 inches off of each corner, or maybe an inch or two lower than the strike zone or higher. Pitch swung on, it's skied in the air to shallow center field. Scott Grimes charges in. He's just behind second and makes the catch. No tag on the put-out. So it's an F8 on the score sheet to set up Eddie Rogers. The Bluefish, the first 6 games with runners in scoring position, had left quite a few base runners on. They've left fewer base runners on of late. And that's the reason why they've scored 8 runs in each of the last 2 games. Part of it has been the emergence of this man coming to the plate, Eddie Rogers. He's playing second base today. He's mostly played shortstop for the Fish. And he's batting .333 on the year. And he's reaching base almost 50% of the time. First pitch swung on a drill, left center field. That is in the gap, and it rolls to the wall. At least 2 runners are coming to the plate. The third one is Colin Delhomme. He's coming home. There is no throw to the plate as it's cut off by Ramon Castro. A bases clearing double by Eddie Rogers. The Bluefish have the lead. It's 3-0. That was scorched to the left center field gap. And the Bluefish have made the opposing teams pay when they get runners in scoring position over the last 3 games. The Long Island squad could not stop them in the final game of that series, especially in the early going. When Colin Delhomme hit the grand slam, Joey Gathright came up with the 2-run triple. And then in yesterday's contest, it was all about moving the runner over, hitting sacrifice flies, after the initial runner got on base, or the initial batter got on base. Curveball spun high. 1 ball and no strikes. 3 runs on 4 base hits. A runner in scoring position in Eddie Rogers for Kennard Jones. He is 0 for 1 with a ground ball to the right side. Next pitch is swung on, squib to the mound, handled by Novoa, stares at second for a moment to draw the runner back and fires to first. 2 away on the 1-3 putout from Kennard, and it brings up Pedro Lopez. There are 2 Joneses on this team and 2 Lopezes on this team. Pedro has been getting on base quite often. Luis has been hitting for singles and doubles to this point in the year. 2-out toss on its way from Novoa as Paniagua establishes inside, but the pitch hangs high. 1 ball and no strikes. Bridgeport out to a 3-run lead in the top half of the second. Novoa beckons his head back and forth. Pitches line up the middle. It is a base hit. Rounding third and trying to score Eddie Rogers. Grimes throws it home. It is not in time. Excellent slide by Eddie Rogers. Paniagua tried to apply the swipe tag, but Rogers put his hand and slapped the plate rather than the conventional foot slide. He just used his arm and went hand first as opposed to feet first, which is why he was safe. 4-0 Bluefish on the RBI single by Pedro Lopez. It sets up Prentice Redmond at the dish. Bluefish with runners in scoring position today, 2 for 3. It accounts for every run tonight. The 2-out toss, fastball, guided to the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Prentice Redmond felt that he was getting his pitches last night in his count, favorable counts, 2-0, 3-0. Just could not exploit those opportunities. The 0-1, swung on and missed. Whiffed that in the dirt. No balls and 2 strikes. That pitch clocked at 81 miles per hour. Novoa rubbing the sweat off his brow. It started out as an 80-degree day. It's probably sagged to the upper 70s. At 77 degrees at the ballpark as the shadows continue to cover the area. The 0-2, swung on and missed. Redmond whiffed on a curveball. but that retires the side. The Bluefish score 4 times on 5 hits and leave a base runner on at the end of an inning and a half. Bridgeport 4, York nothing. You're listening to Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. We'll be right back after these words from our local sponsors.
It's not just the connections to the talent at Whiting.com. It's looking your best friend in New York. It's Whiting.com is getting your road trip back on track. Preferred by millions of little toys to search for always Whiting.com and Whiting.com Sharktooth, Screwdriver, Skeleton Key, Golf Team from the golf trip that you're going golfing on, Rope Fork, Tuning Fork, Fork Fork, the lucky fishing lure you snagged Alan with. Sorry, Alan. Drumsticks, chopsticks for the place you met that Dallas-based flight attendant, a motel key. Let's not talk about the motel key. A spark plug, a domino, a house key. How do these things make Miller Lite from a can even better? Find out May 2012. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
The Gear Shop at the ballpark at Harbor Yard is your one-stop shop for everything Bluefish. Take a break from the action and check out all your Bluefish souvenir favorites. From men's and women's t-shirts and a wide selection of home, road, and other trendy hats, to Fear the Fin rally towels, team photos, and commemorative baseballs. The Gear Shop has it all. Don't forget about our kids' wear section, game-worn jerseys, even your own stuffed BB the Bluefish, and more. The Bluefish Gear Shop is located on the third base side of the concourse level at the ballpark in Harbor Yard and is open on game days. Come and browse all your favorite Bluefish apparel from an hour before the first pitch until the final out is made. You can't make it to the ballpark on game day, but still want to support Fairfield County's only professional.
Bluefish Baseball is back. We are in the bottom half of the second inning. From York, Pennsylvania, Chris Nowak steps up to the plate. The first pitch from Isaac Hess is skied in the air, foul to the right. No balls and 1 strike. There is a no-nonsense approach from this Bluefish pitching staff. Matt Pike yesterday in the first 4 innings of work delivered 34 pitches. And today, Hess is working quickly. He has established strike 1 to each of the first couple of hitters. The 0-1 swung on and lined into left field. On the move, making a diving play, Kennard Jones. 1 away. It was a sinking line drive by Nowak. Kennard Jones mistimed it for a moment, but was able to sprint towards the left center field alley from his position in left to grab the baseball. 1 away on the L7 to set up Michael Hernandez. The right fielder hit a 2-run shot yesterday. The former member of the Somerset Patriots and a Brooklyn, New York native steps up. He is 1 for 4 last night. As the first pitch is outside. He was 1 for 4 last night. And it's 1 ball, no strikes on the heater outside. He's followed by Andres Perez, former Bridgeport second baseman. The 1-0 is smacked into left field. Jones moving back off the plate off the wall, and it takes a ricochet towards the infield as the low fields and throws to second, and he is safe. The throw was just behind the second base bag. It forced Eddie Rogers to swing his arm around and try to apply the tag that way, but it is a 1-out double from Michael Hernandez off the shallow walk. Kennard Jones was looking for the ricochet, but did not play it the way he had hoped, and the bounce did not go the way he had hoped. Andres Perez moves forward. The Revolution, after Bridgeport got out to a 4-0 lead, came up with a 2-run shot in the 5th inning. Bridgeport has an advantage much earlier on in this contest. Great to be here from sun-filled York, Pennsylvania, lower Susquehanna Valley. The 1-out pitch settles over the outside corner. The count, no balls and 1 strike. For those of you tuning in on the YouTube page for the Bridgeport Bluefish, we would like to thank you for tuning in for this broadcast. The 0-1 on its way from Hess, well inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Isaac Hess, in his career, has played AAA baseball in the Mexican League, but has never been a part of an affiliated major league organization. AAA Mexican League is considered that level as high as the Pacific Coast League and the International League. As the pitch drops to the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. He began his career with Windy City in the Frontier League and dominated in 07. Did very well in 08 and eventually made his way to the Atlantic League for the Newark Bears before traveling to the Golden Baseball League, which is now defunct. 2-1. Fastball drifts outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. There is a base open, but James Shanks, who hit tremendously last year, another 300 hitter, is waiting in the wings. Perez hit 300 as well, 300 plus for the Fish last year. 3-1. Fastball, low ball, 4. Hess clocked at 88 miles per hour. 2 runners are on. Hernandez with a double and Andres Perez with the walk to set up James Shanks. The one element that Hess must understand, this ballpark can play to a great advantage or a greater advantage for the hitter than it will for the pitcher. And many of the other ballparks in this league will be conducive to that. Not necessarily that the ball flies in this park, but because of the dimensions of the ballpark. And I'm sure in the Mexican League there were certain ballparks he was accustomed to that catered to the hitters more so than himself. The first pitch grounded, softly fouled down the third base line and shoots just underneath the Bluefish bench. The fans hoping to get a souvenir baseball, and one of the members of the bullpen delivers it to a young girl wearing a pink hooded sweatshirt. The count at 0 balls and 1 strike. The left-hander deals, pitch swung on and driven. Deep left center field, no chance. That ball is gone. Way out. James Shanks with a 3-run drive to left center field. Well, Bluefish lead has been trimmed to 1. It's 4-3. James Shanks ripped the cover out off the baseball. I believe that went way over the merry-go-round in left center and close to the street right behind the merry-go-round and a second set of billboard signs. You could barely see that ball. No movement from Colin Dolom or Kennard Jones. As Salvador Paniagua steps forward, Isaac Hess delivers the 1-out toss, swung on and missed. 0 balls and 1 strike. That curveball was hanging, and Shanks placed it well out of the park. Paniagua steps in. The next pitch, curveball, bounces to the dirt and deflects close to the netting. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the second inning, the Revolution have responded to Bridgeport's offensive explosion in the second with a 3-run jack in their half of the frame. The 1-1 fastball got it to the middle of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4 runs on 5 base hits. 3 runs on 2 base hits. First inning was seamless for the pitchers. Second inning works looking a bit different as Hess strikes out Paniagua for out number 2. Fastball tailing to the inside corner as Danny Gonzalez is making his way to the batter's box. I do apologize. Salvador Paniagua was quickly switched. The lineup had been switched at the last moment. Danny Gonzalez struck out, and it sets up Salvador Paniagua. The first pitch is a curveball inside. The count 1 ball and no strikes. So Danny Gonzalez is 0 for 1. After the strikeout, Paniagua looks at a pitch served inside. 1 ball, make it 2 balls and no strikes. 3-run jack by James Shanks. After Hernandez had doubled and Andres Perez walked, the pitch is nubbed over to first. Brock Peterson fields and waves off Isaac Hess as he scampers to the bag to retire the final batter of the inning. But not before York strikes for three on a 3-run drive from James Shanks to left center. 4-3 at the end of 2. Bridgeport on top. You're listening to Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. I am Perry Miles. We'll be back right after this.
But after swinging open the fridge, I saw the most horrific sight. Not a single cold beverage, not a single course light. I grabbed my keys and silently hit the store. I stopped when I heard a knock on the door. It's my girlfriend. Mary kissed of course light. Best girlfriend ever. Forgot that night. I was always like, where's the why do we love baseball? Is it the players, the piece of equipment, the mascots? Could it be that what we need is a piece of reminds us how we can all come out and work together, just like a good team? At Prudential Abilities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things can happen. That's why each year we uphold the commitment to helping charitable causes in our community by pitching in financial resources and by enabling Prudential Abilities employees to help others through volunteer work. From conducting mentoring programs and helping homeless shelters to supporting health awareness and food banks, Prudential Annuities is more than a big company in Fairfield County. We're a big part of the community, too. Prudential Annuities, going to bat for the community. The Prudential Insurance Company of America, Newark, New Jersey, and its affiliates. Prudential Annuities is a business of Prudential Financial.
This is Terry McGriff, pitching coach for the Bridgeport Bluefish, and you're listening to Perry Miles on the Bluefish Broadcast.
Bluefish Baseball is on the air once more as Junior Novoa makes his way to the mound for his second inning of work. Bluefish have had their lead cut from 4 runs to just 1 run. Whenever Bridgeport has been challenged this year, they've come up big as Luis Lopez moves into the batter's box. He's followed by Ramon Vasquez and Brock Peterson. Vasquez was the player who started the last inning's rally as Lopez grounded into a fielder's choice to end the first, moves forward. Junior Novoa deals first pitch, fastball runs high, 1 ball and no strikes. The great teams in this league will not only put up a spot after the Revolution put up a spot, but then they will increase their lead even more and perhaps put the game out of reach. The next offering is a check swing. Marty Bauer says he did not go. 2 balls and no strikes. So many different stories swirling around the Atlantic League. Coming into today, the newest member as the fastball tails to the corner, 2 balls and 1 strike. The Sugarland Skeeters are tied with the Somerset Patriots for first place. It's very early on though. Just 8 games. 2-0. Swung on and driven. Deep left field. No chance. That ball is gone. Left field shot by Louis. And Lopez smacks it above the 50 feet, 6-inch wall. Bridgeport extends the lead. It's 5-3. There was a question of whether or not it was tall enough. No chance for Stephen Douglas to get the ball. It is Lopez's first home run of the season. And with those RBI, he leads the Bluefish in that category. The next pitch from Novoa is a curveball low, 1 ball and no strikes. This ballpark is a major hitter's park, if there ever was one. The 1-0. Down in the dirt on a curve, 2 balls and no strikes. Look at the dimensions. 300 feet down to the left field line. Yes, it is tall, but left-handed hitters, right-handed hitters could bang doubles off the wall all day. Next offering settles over the middle. 1-1. And then the left center field wall is also shallow. Pitch grounded softly down the first base side, but drifts foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ramon Vasquez walked in his last plate appearance. He went 3 for 5 in yesterday's contest. Next offering, curveball, delivered outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Bridgeport has added a run in the 3rd inning to their 4 runs in the 2nd. They have a 5-3 lead. Curveball poked over to short. Gonzalez shifts to his left, delivers the strike, 1 away. 6-3 with Gonzalez slightly shuffling his feet towards the second base bag to bring in Brock Peterson. Peterson picked up his 2nd hit of the year. He has 1 RBI to this point. He's played almost every game this year. Missed just 1. A 1-out toss. Delivered on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. At least for the time that he's been here. Can play first base, right field, and also DH, undoubtedly. The 0-1 is dribbled foul down the left side. No balls and 2 strikes. Colin DeLome is the on-deck hitter. He'll get a shot in this inning, courtesy of the Luis Lopez home run. Next offering is a heater low and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Light fixtures are on at the ballpark. There are some ominous clouds well in the distance. Not quite the way that they were last night when they developed a little bit earlier than 7:20 Eastern. Pitch swung on and grounded foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. They developed about 6:50 and continued to move towards York. Had an opportunity to talk with one of the front office personnel with the Revolution. The pop-up thunderstorms happen often here. Not quite as much in Bridgeport during the summer. And Union of all popped a curveball that was swung over the top for strike 3. Brock Peterson goes down swinging as Colin DeLome makes his way to the plate. DeLome a single on his resume. The center fielder has started off quite well, batting .400. So he's 4 for 10 in his limited appearances to this point, with 1 home run. Pitch, fastball sent upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. It's a very comfortable day. About an hour north of Baltimore. The 1-0 is a little bit outside. And the curveball. DeLome stares in. May have clipped the corner, 1-1. Next pitch swung on and missed. Repeated the pitch, except it was in the dirt. And that is critical for anybody to be successful in this league. You cannot throw the same pitch 30 times and expect the same results. Change speeds, change locations. That's the name of the game. 1-2 is slapped into deep left field. Having to play it off the wall is the left fielder Stephen Douglas, moving into second base with a double. Colin DeLome. He's halfway to the cycle. He hit a single in his first at bat and comes up with a double to the opposite field during this time. A runner in scoring position for Luis Rodriguez. Already 7 base hits for the Fish. And you would think that York's bullpen may be starting to get loose, as Novoa just does not have it right now. The curveball lines up with the middle of the plate. No balls and 1 strike. He's already surrendered 5 runs on 7 hits and 1 walk. 2 2/3 innings so far for the Southpaw. The 0-1, fastball, guided outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the Bluefish broadcast, you can send an email to perrym86@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter. Just me, P. Miles. The 1-1 swung on and missed. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just me, P-M-I-L-E-S. So far, The only thing really to tweet about is how much the Bluefish and Revolution have been hitting. Both pitchers have been lit up to this point. 1-2, fastball high. 91 on the gun. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It all began with a bases clearing double for Eddie Rogers in the second. He wound up scoring an RBI single from Pedro Lopez back through the box. Naveau is 2-2. Grounded softly to third. Nowak gathers, looks at second for some reason, and throws to first to retire the side. Why Nowak looked at second base when he had 2 runners out is beyond me. It could have made the play a little more difficult. But there is no harm done as the Bluefish score a run on a solo drive by Lopez. At the end of 2.5, 5-3, Bridgeport on top. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
Ballpark at Harbor Yard is your one-stop shop for everything Bluefish. Take a break from the action and check out all your Bluefish souvenir favorites. From men's and women's t-shirts and a wide selection of home, road, and other trendy hats, to Fear the Fin rally towels, cheap photos, and commemorative baseball. The gear shop has it all. Don't forget about our kids' wear section, game worn jerseys, even your own stuffed Baby the Bluefish, and more. The Bluefish Gear Shop is located on the third base side of the concourse level at the ballpark at Harbor Yard and is open on game day. Come and browse all your favorite Bluefish apparel from an hour before the first pitch until the final out is made. Can't make it to the ballpark on game day but still want to support Fairfield County's only professional baseball team? Then check out the new Bluefish online store at BridgeportBluefish.com or call 203-345-4800 to schedule an appointment. The Bluefish Gear Shop, hunting gifts for all ages and all sizes. Located at the ballpark at Harbor Yard, 500 Main Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Miller Lite wants you to win the greatest weekend that never happened. The ultimate biggest weekend for you and a buddy. Just collect Miller Lite taste points for your chance to win one of 100 biggest tips given away this summer for the big weekend. So grab Miller Lite and seize the summer at tastepoints.com. It's that easy, and it never happened. It's Miller time. No purchase necessary. Open to legal U.S. residents 21 or older. Void in California and where prohibited. Sweepstakes begins 5/12 and ends 8/12. For details, how to enter and complete official rules, go to tastepoints.com. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
We welcome you back to the Bluefish broadcast. Bottom of the third inning. Bridgeport has a 5-3 lead on the York Revolution. Stepping up to the plate, Scott Grimes. He struck out in his first appearance. The first pitch is low. The count 1 ball and no strikes. Grimes, Stephen Douglas, Ramon Castro. 1, 2, and 3 in the order for the Revs. 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Hess. 1 more in the second. He has 3 today. But the one big hit, he had 2 extra base hits in the second, but the big one came off the bat of James Shanks, a 3-run drive that went over the second set of billboard signs. Not the first one, which is the outfield wall. The second set, deep left center pitch, skied in the air. Shallow center field, Pedro Lopez called off. The second baseman was called off by Colin DeLome, who makes the play from center. 1 away. Counts as a P8 if you're counting at home. It brings up Stephen Douglas. Stephen Douglas grounded out 4-3 in the first inning. And the left-handed hitter, he's been hitting quite well with this new squad. As the first pitch is on the outside corner, no balls and 1 strike. Compared with the way that the rest of his team is hitting, of course. Just 241 to this point, as the curveball is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefty-lefty situation. Many times, left-handed pitchers will try to work the outside corner as the fastball induces a grounder to first. Brock Peterson handles and shovels it over to the pitcher, Isaac Hess, covering 2 away. 3-1 on the score sheet. And it brings up Ramon Castro. We are in the evening time as the sun has faded behind the stadium. You would see a slight reflection if you look deep left field. Not too many clouds in the distance, although where there are clouds, there is ominous weather. Probably about 100 miles away. Takes a little while for those storms to make their way into this area. Castro looks at a pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. And the fans enjoying it. In Bridgeport this past week, it was in the low and mid-50s for start times, and then eventually went down into the 40s. One night, even in the 30s. The 1-0 swung on and nubbed foul to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Not quite the same in York. Well away from the coast, which helps to heat the atmosphere. The water plays some role in holding down temperatures when it's hot and keeping temperatures up when it's cold. Next offering's on the inside corner. Fastball makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Campbell's Field in Camden is close to the river. Matter of fact, right over the bridge, but the difference is a different type of wind. There's a very warm wind that comes through. In Bridgeport, if there's a southwest wind, it's coming right off the water. Much cooler than almost everywhere else in the Atlantic League, including the new team Sugarland, Texas. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Hess winds and deals. Curveball swung, snagged at the mound on the ground ball. Hess delivers to first in time, end of inning. After Bridgeport scored 1 in the top of the 3rd, Isaac Hess does his job in the bottom half by getting a 1-2-3. At the end of 3, Bridgeport holding on to a 5-3 advantage. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
So I hit it to the kitchen, refreshing my thoughts. But after speeding up in the fridge, I saw the most horrific sight. Not a single cold beverage, not a single Coors Light. I grabbed my keys. It was time to hit the store. But stopped when I heard a knock at the door. It was my girlfriend, Mary Kiss of Coors Light. Best girlfriend ever.
Is it the uniforms, the makes of the game, the mascots, the big? Or could it be that what we really need is that baseball reminds us how we can all come out ahead when we work together, just like a good team? At Prudential Annuities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things can happen. That's why each year, we uphold the commitment to helping charitable causes in our community by pitching in the financial resources and by enabling Prudential Annuities employees to help others through volunteer work. From conducting mentoring programs and helping homeless shelters to supporting health awareness and food banks, Prudential Annuities is more than a big company in Fairfield County. We're a big part of the community, too. Prudential Annuities, going to bat for the community. Prudential Insurance Company.
Bluefish Baseball is back on the air. Top of the 4th inning. 5-3 the score. 5 runs on 7 base hits to 3 runs on 2 base hits, with the big contributor stepping up to the plate in Eddie Rogers. The first pitch is outside. The count at 1 ball and no strikes. Junior Navoa is still in the game, but there is action brewing down the right field line as the bullpen catcher has made his way down there. The next pitch is on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Almost a perfect day for baseball. The players feeling more comfortable. Pitchers as well. The 1-1. Slides low, 2 balls, 1 strike. Had an opportunity to talk with Joe Bateman today, and he said comparatively speaking, he loves pitching in this kind of weather. It's more conducive to get a feel, pump up the adrenaline, and get ready to go. The 2-1, swung on and fisted to the right side of the infield. Castro charges in and uses 2 hands to close the glove on the baseball. 1 away on a PF3 as it fell into foul territory about halfway between the home plate area and the first base side. So then my question to him was, pitchers tend to dominate, especially if they're able to work the inside corners, because if you jam hitters, they're going to have their hands sting. If it's 50-55 degrees, even though there might not be adrenaline for you guys, it would pain the hitters to swing the bat. The next pitch is on the inside corner, no balls and 1 strike and a curve. And his response to that was, pitchers and hitters love the warm weather because we get going easily and our muscles relax a little bit more. The next offering is over the middle of the plate, no balls and 2 strikes, and that could be the same could be said in very hot weather. You don't need much time to warm up. The 0-2. Curveball just missed off the outside edge. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The hitters are certainly feeling more comfortable for the Bluefish in this series than they did when they took on the Camden River Sharks in the first one. In the final 3 games, the team just scored 4 runs total and got shut out twice. Next offering, curveball stays high. Count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Navola trying to establish a quick rhythm, and he fouls it off down the left field line. The Bluefish work the counts effectively. They draw bases on balls, maybe not in this series, but they work the counts in their favor. It's an even pitch, 2-2. Swung on and lifted into the right center field. Overleap of Andres Perez for a base hit. It appeared to be a broken bat line drive that just had enough hops to get over the glove of Andres. He can leap, just did not get to the ball. It's a single for Kennard Jones. Sets up Pedro Lopez. Pedro Lopez looking at the Bluefish dugout. There is a conversation going on, and eventually the move is made to the bullpen. This call to the bullpen, presented by Prudential Annuities. Prudential Annuities going to bat for our community. Mark Mason takes the ball away from the starting pitcher, Junior Novoa. This call to the bullpen. We'll be right back after this on BridgeportBluefish.com.
Is it the uniforms, the picks of the game, the mascots? Could be. Or could it be that what we want is that baseball reminds us how we can all come out ahead when we work together, just like a good team. And at Prudential Annuities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things happen. That's why each year we uphold a commitment to helping charitable causes in our community by pitching in financial resources and by enabling Prudential Annuities employees to help others through volunteer work. From conducting mentoring programs and helping homeless shelters to supporting health awareness and food banks, Prudential Annuities is more than a big company there for the county. We're a big part of the community too. Prudential Annuities,
of 69 business
Prudential Insurance Company, Harrisburg, New Jersey, affiliates. Prudential Annuities is a business of Prudential Financial.
At Miller Lite, we believe if you're not choosing a light beer with more taste.
This call to the bullpen, presented by Prudential Annuities. Prudential Annuities going to bat for our community. James Hauser enters the game, a tall left-hander out of Sarasota, Florida, as he features a fastball and a curveball. Hauser's been on the York Revolution in the past. And his last team before that, quite some time ago, he's been affiliated baseball with the Major League organization back in 2010 with New Orleans. Before he came over, James Hauser Solid pitcher. New Orleans used to be the New York Mets affiliate a little while back. Now is the affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Hauser throws a fastball anywhere from about 88 to 91 miles per hour. Many of the pitchers tend to do that. Hauser is wearing the jersey number 23 on the hill, as he will have to take on Pedro Lopez and potentially Prentice Redmond if there is no double play turn. Stepping up to the dish, Pedro Lopez. He's 1 for 2 today. The wind has increased in intensity as the ball may fly out in left field. The American flag hanging on top of a flagpole in right center field is indicating that the wind is driving in that direction, which means only one thing. It benefits right-handed batters and left-handers who are able to go with the pitch on the outside third. The one-out toss on its way from Hauser. He lifts his leg and decides not to throw the baseball. He knows Jones is a threat, but he also knows that Jones has been caught stealing 4 times this year, and 3 of them on pickoffs. The one-out toss on its way from the southpaw. He stares it, and he was trying to go. The throw to first by Castro. The throw to second is into left field. It was a bad throw. Kennard Jones was trying to move over to second base. He got caught again. But York makes a miscue, and we'll see if it costs them on the scoreboard in terms of a run. You cannot assume that it's an error to Castro, although he has a solid arm. You would have to consider that a stolen base because Kennard Jones was going and sprinted as soon as Hauser lifted his leg. Now Hauser's back is turned towards second, which means Kennard could just straight steal unless there's a complete rotation. The first pitch is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. The advantage that left-handers have over right-handers when a runner's at first is that they have the ability to see the base runner. They can lift their leg as long as they want and to direct their attention to first by throwing it there. The 1-0 is skied in the air to the left side. Giving chase, Nowak. He's leading towards the Bluefish dugout and makes the play on the backhand as he reached over. That for sure would have been in the Bluefish dugout. But Nowak makes a nice play. And with a runner at second base, Prentice Redmond, who is 1 for 2 tonight, steps forward. So the point that I was driving at is left-handers have a much easier time holding on base runners than right-handers do, because right-handers have their back turned to first. Kennard Jones, he was trying to time the left-hander's rhythm and did not do it successfully. Fortunately for him and the Bluefish, he wound up getting the second on the bad throw. Check swing number over to first, but it directs foul. Prentice Redmond got a little piece on the very top part of the bat, not anywhere near the barrel. No balls and 1 strike. Kennard Jones has great speed, but he's trying to learn from Joey Gathright how to not get caught stealing. He mentioned that after the first game when he was caught stealing twice. Set up outside, pitch on its way, on the corner. No balls and 1 strike becomes no balls and 2 strikes. Sovereign Bank Stadium, top of the 4th inning. Bridgeport ahead by a couple. 8 hits to this point for the Fish. Left-hander stares in. Pitch on its way. Check swing, went through the zone. Strike 3 as Redmond goes down swinging for the 2nd time tonight. The Bluefish do not score. They leave a base runner on. At the end of 3.5, Bridgeport maintaining a 2-run lead. You're watching Bluefish baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
The Gear Shop at the ballpark in Harbor Yard is your one-stop shop for everything Bluefish. Take a break from the action and check out all your Bluefish souvenir favorites. From men's and women's t-shirts and a wide selection of home, road, and other trendy hats, to beer to fin rally towels, cheap photos, and commemorative baseball. The Gear Shop has it all. Don't forget about our kids' wear section, game-worn jerseys, even your own stuff being the Bluefish and more. The Bluefish Gear Shop is located on the 3rd
They did that yesterday too. They didn't do the dog race yesterday though. And there goes the Bluefish player too.
To schedule an appointment. The Bluefish Gear Shop, perfect gifts for all ages and all sizes. Located at the ballpark Yard, 500 Main Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Miller Lite wants you to win the greatest weekend that never happened. The ultimate Vegas weekend for you and a buddy. Just collect Miller Lite taste points for your chance to win one of 100 Vegas trips being given away this summer for the big weekend. So grab Miller Lite and seize the summer at tastepoints.com. It's that easy and it never happened. It's Miller time. No purchase necessary. Offer to legal U.S. residents 21 or older. Void in California and where prohibited. Sweepstakes begins 5/12 and ends 8/12. For details, how to win, or complete official rules, go to tastepoints.com. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Hello, my name is Joe Bate. You're listening to Perry Miles on BridgeportBluefish.com.
The Bluefish have the York Revolution Game 2, the middle contest of this 3-game series. As Chris Nowak steps forward from the on-deck circle, he had a 2-run shot yesterday in the 9th inning to make York's score look more respectable. And so far this season, he has 2 jacks, 3 RBI, as he has a close stance. The first pitch is inside a curve. 1 ball, no strikes. Perhaps he was taking a couple of pointers from Ramon Castro because he too has a close stance. His front foot is closer to home plate than his back foot. An even stance would be parallel feet equidistant from the plate, and an open stance would be the front foot is further from the plate than his back foot. The next pitch is outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Nowak lined out to left field on a sinker to Kennard Jones. He dove and grabbed it on the backhand. Next offering is a fastball. Twists to the corner. 2-1. Prentice Redmond is playing a shallow right field. Very shallow right field. He could probably throw Nowak out if he got the ball in a line drive right to him. Screaming line drive to right. The 2-1. Fastball guided outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. The center fielder, Colin DeLome, angled slightly towards left center. The left fielder, Kennard Jones, playing regular depth. 3-1 swung on a drilled foul left field line into the seats. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cloud cover gone. Non-existent. Just a couple of purple ones because of the sunlight angling off of the cumulus. 3-2. Squib foul to the right. Cumulus clouds, those puffy ones. Not too much danger out there. York Revolution, different story. Their bats provide plenty of danger, and before yesterday's contest, they won 13 consecutive games at this ballpark against the Bluefish. So Bridgeport snapped that streak. The 3-2 popped up, out of play, right side. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And apparently one of the fans may have had an opportunity to catch. That pop flying did not quite do it. If you bring a glove to the ballpark, it is expected for that person to be catching the baseball on a pop fly. 3-2. Ground ball foul. The only exception is if a child comes to the ballpark with a glove. You never know. Children come to the ballpark for all kinds of reasons with their parents and families to enjoy the minor league experience. And today, some of those same children had some fun on the base paths, running them. 3-2. Kicks foul, right side. Nowak stays alive. You have 4 different fruits on the base paths, each child wearing a different costume. Green grapes, purple grapes, apple, and banana. And there was a close race today. Right before The bottom of the fourth inning started. 3-2. Swung on and served out to right field. Pretty well hit. Curtis Redmond on the move. Backs up and makes the catch. It appeared for a moment Redmond would not be able to get to the ball. But perhaps Nowak did not hit it as cleanly off the barrel as he would have liked. As the ball stayed in the air a long time, Redmond sprinted to the right center field gap. One away on the F9. It swings Michael Hernandez to the plate. 1 out toss from Hess. Fastball high. He settled down since the second inning jack from James Shanks. That was pummeled to left center. Eddie Rogers' shot to left center for the bases clearing double was also crushed as the fastball turns away. 2 balls and no strikes. Hernandez was the facilitator of that inning. He led off the frame with a double to left, off the low part of the wall. The 2-0 is, again, shallow fly to center. The shortstop, Pedro Lopez, went back, but he's called off by Colin DeLome, who makes the play to the left of center. Center fielder records the second out of the frame. And F8 if you're counting at home, let's give you the trivia question for today. The trivia question is, which Bridgeport Bluefish player came from the York Revolution to play in the Park City for a couple of seasons? Which former York Revolution player played in the Park City for a couple of seasons after spending it with the York Revolution? The fastball was outside, 1 ball and no strikes to Andres Perez. And by the way, Perez is not the answer. Send an email, perrym86@gmail.com. Fastball directed outside but missed the corner. Isaac Hess started out throwing strike 1, strike 2. The last few batters he has fallen behind. Fortunately for the southpaw, though, York's bats have been anything but productive through the first 8 or so games. The 2-0 swung on and foul tipped into Machete's glove. 2 balls and 1 strike. Isaac Hess is learning from this experience in York. Left-hander has continued to throw inside the strike zone and then work his way outside by expanding it. The next pitch is drilled down the left field line. It is a base hit. Rolls 1 hop off the wall. Kennard Jones fields the ball and fires a 1 hop to second. And it's only a single for Andres Perez. That is the misfortune of this ballpark for any hitter. You could crush the ball, and if it takes the right bounce for the defense, you'll be held to a single. It's only 300 feet down the left field line and 345 to left center, so there's not much real estate. Not to mention the wall is a brick out there, almost as rough as a brick. 2-out pitch from Hess. Fastball guided low, 1 ball and no strikes to the second inning home run hitter, Mr. Shanks. He's no slouch in the lineup. Batting from the right side, arguably is the most complete player on the York Revolution squad for each of their 2 championship runs. The pitch is served out to deep right field. Redmond on the move. He's going back and makes the play. Nice route running from Prentice Redmond as he directed himself to the right center field gap just in front of one of the hot dog signs out there. Stopped just shy of the track to catch the ball. No run score on 1 base hit. A runner is left on. At the end of 4, Bridgeport has a 5-3 lead. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
It's not just getting collections to tailored life.com. This is Shark Tooth, Screwdriver, Skeleton Team, Golf Team from the golf trip that you never went golf on. Group 4, Lucky Fishing where you snag Alan. Sorry, Alan, drumsticks, chopsticks, replacing the Dallas Fish Fight, the motel key. Let's not talk about the motel key. A spark plug, domino, a house key. How do these things make Miller Lite from a can even better? Find out, May 2012. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility. It's around the product, around words that become your brothers. It's down to the task at hand. Tables, choice work is supposed to be right. Crave light beer, it's never right on the table. It's not just a good time, it's never time.
Bluefish Baseball is back on the air. Perry Miles for the Bluefish website, BridgeportBluefish.com. Which former York Revolution player came to the Park City for a couple of seasons? And the answer is not Andres Perez, because he was not in Bridgeport long enough. He was there for just one season. That's the hint. The first pitch is outside. The count, 1 ball and no strikes to Luis Lopez. Lopez today has a solo shot as the next pitch is guided to the outside corner. The count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Continue to give you updates from the Atlantic League, courtesy of PointStreet.com and AtlanticLeague.com, as the next offering is granted slowly third. Nowak delivers the throw across in time or away. He shifted maybe a step or two toward the third base bag from where he was positioned and brings up Vasquez. Ramon Vasquez has been a vital part to the Bluefish success. He scored a run yesterday, had 3 hits. He gets on base quite often. Former big leaguer with a number of organizations. As the first pitch is on its way, it goes inside the count at 1 ball and no strikes. This call to the bullpen presented by Prudential Annuities. Prudential Annuities going to bat for our community as Sean Hill sends the pitch and it's hit down the left field line out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sean Hill, 6'2", 185 pounds, out of Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. The tall right-hander lines and delivers a fastball inside at 85 miles per hour. Hill last played for the Toronto Blue Jays in 2010. Teammate probably of Rami Lewis in the minor leagues as the 2-1 settles low. Rami Lewis, the Bluefish left-handed relief pitcher who's towards the back end of the bullpen, was a member of the Toronto Blue Jays last year and played AAA baseball the year before as the next pitch served low and inside. And the count runs to 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 man out here in the top of the 5th inning. This scene is dreamy. 75 degrees, partly cloudy, no rain in the forecast, and baseball is here. 3-2, way inside, ball 4. Vasquez drops his gloves, throws his shin guard as well, to be gathered by the York Revolution ball boy, because he went over to first base on a walk. The second time that he's walked today. Junior Navoa, 3 1/3 innings of 8-hit, 5-run baseball, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Hauser lasted 2/3 of an inning to complete Navoa's line. Sean Hill in the game for the first time. Isaac Hess has settled down since that point where he gave up the 3 runs. Next pitch is sliced foul out of play. The hurler gets ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Five runs on 8 base hits, a 3-3. Other scores around the Atlantic League. Sugarland on top of Lancaster 2-0. That's in the bottom of the 3rd from Clipper. It's about a half an hour away from here. The 0-1 rather, is outside. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Somerset 1, Southern Maryland 0. Bottom of the 3rd inning from TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater. And Long Island, after crushing Camden last night, out to a 5-1 lead against the River Sharks. 1-1. Grounded softly down the 3rd base line. It stays in fair territory. Nowak has to eat the ball. He fielded the ball off balance as he drifted towards home plate from his position at 3rd. And with the speed that Brock Peterson has racing down the 1st base line, no chance for Nowak to get the out. Runners at 1st and 2nd for the Fish to set up Colin DeLome. No relationship with former Carolina QB Jake DeLome. Names are spelled much differently. There's an H in the quarterback's name and no H in this guy's name. The pitch slap foul left side. So no relationship. He played for the Houston Astros organization, which now, Round Rock, is the Texas Rangers organization. Switched affiliates with Oklahoma City a few years back. The 0-1. Swung on and laced into right center field. No chance for Scott Grimes. He turns around and has to play it towards the wall. 1 run scores. 2nd runner coming home. It's Brock Peterson. It's a 2-run triple for Colin DeLome. The Bluefish increase their lead. It's now 4 runs at 7-3. Right center field alley. Scott Grimes has great speed out there. No chance he was getting there. And with 1 man out, nobody in York's bullpen is throwing, probably because Mark Mason and Andy Etchebarren believe that the right-hander needs to eat some innings. First pitch fastball inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Similar to the way that Joe Esposito pitched the other day for Long Island. He gave up 7 runs in the first 2 innings and could not find the strike zone when he did. Bluefish bats tormented him. The 1-0. Fastball guided on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Joe Esposito wound up settling down and threw 4 scoreless innings after surrendering 7 runs. But this is a different story. Reliever in the game. Pitch from Hill. Fastball inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Already 10 hits in the ball game for the Fish. We have not completed 5 innings on the offensive side for the Bridgeport squad as the pitch is chopped on the ground, foul to the left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wind has increased a little bit as it is a gust towards left field. Not too much though. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Set up outside from Paniagua. The next pitch is chopped into the ground to the left side. Fielding is Hill. He looks at 3rd and then throws to 1st to retire the side. And you have to wonder, Luis Rodriguez did not get off to a great start out of the box. You wonder if getting hit with the ball yesterday may have influenced his ability to run down to first base on that instance. Sean Hill took a long time to jump off the mound. Took him about 3 to 4 seconds to get off the mound and get the ball. Look at 3rd. And it took another second, maybe a little bit more, to throw to 1st. DeLome stays at 3rd. With 2 men out, a curveball slips. It knocked Eddie Rogers to the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. If you're going to be hit by a pitch, an ethos pitch is probably the most preferable way, and a curveball is the second most preferable way. Never want to get hit with a fastball. The next one is a heater outside. 2 balls and no strikes. An ethos pitch is basically a lob ball. And then the curveball goes from one direction, changing planes. But it's much slower than almost any other pitch except for the changeup. The 2-0 is smacked foul to the netting. Hops up near the warning track. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bridgeport with a victory, combined with the potential for Somerset to win the game, would extend their lead in the division to a minimum of 2 games. Of course, it's still early in this one, as the pitch is swung on and smoked down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone, but it is a foul ball. It twisted towards the picnic area and heads to the street. The Bluefish are crushing Sean Hill. And they did the same thing to the starting pitcher, Junior Novoa. Took advantage of some early opportunity. 2-2. Swung on and smoked into right center field. That's a base hit as it heads to the gap. That scores Delone. On his way to second, Rogers, as the throw comes in on 3 hops to the shortstop, Danny Gonzalez. An RBI rip double from Eddie Rogers. The Bluefish have the lead. It's 8-3 now. The bats continue to show their pride, and the offense has been dominant down here. 8 runs on 11 hits. Sends the Bluefish back to the top of the order. With the way the Bluefish are hitting today, you may see some of their bench players get a shot as the pitch is grounded over to short. Gonzalez shifted his feet to his right, delivers the throw across after he gathered the ball to retire the side. 6-3 for Jones to end the 5th, but the Bluefish add 3 more runs at the end of 4.5. Bridgeport with a 5-run advantage. Stay tuned. You're listening to Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. I am Perry Miles.
Starts the second phase, 7-2 for Johnson. To the Buxton throw, reserves your times and over, down the spot. RC Hill is a world class starting with seris and musical prices. Comes with RC Hill, sets up your lane street to the Bridgeport Power RC Hill tracks at 2, 20 of 3, 6-4
T-shirts and a wide selection of home, road, and other trendy hats, to beer the Fin rally towels, team photos, and commemorative baseball. The Gear Shop has it all. Don't forget about our kidswear section, game-worn jerseys, even your own stuffed BB the Bluefish, and more. The Bluefish Gear Shop is located on the third base side of the concourse level at the ballpark in Harbor Yard and is open on game days. Come and browse all your favorite Bluefish apparel an hour before the first pitch until the final out is made. Can't make it to the ballpark on game day, but still want to support Fairfield County's only professional baseball team? Then check out the new Bluefish online store at BridgeportBluefish.com or call 203-345-4800 to schedule an appointment. The Bluefish Gear Shop, perfect gifts for all ages and all sizes. Located at the ballpark in Harbor Yard, 500 Main Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Feeling like wants you to win the greatest weekend that never happened.
We head to the bottom of the 5th inning with Bridgeport in command. It's an 8-3 lead. The first pitch is slap foul to the right side. No balls and 1 strike to Danny Gonzalez. He was the former shortstop for the Road Warriors, the team that did not have a home for 126 games and pressed York so much, they decided to sign him when they were unable to get the other shortstops they were seeking. The 0-1 slides low, 1 ball and 1 strike. There were 2 players from the Road Warriors team that made it back to affiliated baseball. Amadeo Zazueta and Carlos Sosa. The next offering is inside. The count runs to 2 balls and 1 strike. There were a couple of other players that are in the Atlantic League at this time. Josh Johnson, the catcher, and Danny Gonzalez for the York Revolution, the shortstop. 2-1 to the shortstop is grounded over to third in the hole. Long throw across, scooped up by Peterson. Great play! Pedro Lopez grabbed it in the hole as his momentum was carrying him towards left field, and then threw a 1-hop strike, which was picked in the dirt by Peterson. An excellent stretch by the first baseman to record the out. That is one of the top plays of the night. Unfortunately, it is not going to be sent to ESPN at this point for the top 10. That was a magnificent play on both sides. First by Pedro Lopez. As Luis tried to cut the ball off, he could not get there. So Pedro Lopez had his teammates back as the Paniagua swing leads to a foul ball. No balls and 1 strike. What great defense by the Bluefish. Just 4 errors through the first 8+ games of this season. That's another reason why they're winning. They don't beat themselves. The 0-1 is inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Manager Willie Upshaw can expect physical errors at points during the season, but they have not even committed those physical errors. The mental errors have also been few and far between. The next pitch is on the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pedro Lopez, Eddie Rogers, let's not forget about Brett Dowdy, who's out of the game as the fastball tails away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brett Dowdy, who injured his hamstring, there was fear that he might have torn it, but he is day to day still dealing with that hamstring injury. And with the way that this team is playing right now, why would you mess with success? Pitch swung on and served out to deep right, but Redmond has room as he settles underneath and makes the catch for the 2nd out of the 5th. And F9 to Paniagua to establish Scott Grimes. Just 1 pickup for Isaac Hetz to this point, and he's managed his pitch count effectively. He's been economical with his pitches in the 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th frames. In the 2nd, it was a little bit higher than that. The 2-out toss from the left-hander as Grimes stares at a first pitch that buckled his knees. 0-1. So far for Hess, 67 pitches. The next offering tossed low. 1 ball and 1 strike. If you are able to complete 5 innings in 70 pitches, that's pretty good for any level. You'll go 7, rest the bullpen a bit. And with the Bluefish up by 5, you don't need the closer at that point. Get some work for other guys. Give other players some rest. The 1-1 is smoked into right, but playable for Redmond. Can of corn for the right fielder to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no one left on base. A couple of line drive shots in the frame, but they could not score as York trails by 5 against Bridgeport. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
Advertising with the Bridgeport Bluefish is a sure way to get out. More than 70% of Bluefish runners will need their sponsorships annually. That's where it is. There are tons of in-game promotions, giveaways, fish fishing video, premium spots, and much more. If the economy is sinking your business, it's time to get swimming with the Bluefish. Try to visit now. Any of the office sales representatives at 203-445-4800 or in Bridge.
At Miller Lite, we know there's only one thing baseball fans love. bases. Away is way under hat. You should be hung up by your underpants. So why root for the away team when you can root for the home team? With a great Pilsner taste of Miller Lite. Triple hop smooth Miller Lite. Taste greatness at Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Hey Bluefish fans, have you heard about the clubhouse? Being located in Fairfield has an unparalleled team of baseball, softball instructors offering private instruction, camps, team training, rentals, and best of all, a chance to learn from an all-pro team including Mike Bozio, former MLB pitcher, and the Bluefish's very own Willie Upshaw. Open 7 days a week. Stop in and meet our team. Or call us 203-292-8700 and visit us at the web at clubhousect.com and get the Major League experience.
Hello, my name is Joe Baker. Listen to Perry Miles, Bridgeport Bluefish.com.
Bridgeport bats in the top half of the 6th inning. The first pitch is outside. The count 1 ball and no strikes. Junior Novoa 3 1/3. Mr. Hauser, James Hauser, as the next pitch is on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sean Hill completing the last inning and 2/3. Pedro Lopez is the strikeout person for the York Revolution. He pitches outside. When I describe it that way, there is a promotion, and if Pedro Lopez strikes out, everyone in the park gets free breadsticks. The 2-1 is on the outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the right side, video board, it shows the K-Man. And if there is a strikeout by Hill, Pedro Lopez would be providing these fans with bliss. The fastball is away, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Eternal bliss for one night. Not eternal bliss for eternity because, well, the Bluefish are winning by 5. I'm sure the York fans were a bit displeased by the way that York's pitching has performed today. The pitch is chopped over to the right side, so he disappoints the fans, and the throw first is not nearly close. Andres Perez pulled the throw to the right field side of first base as the ground ball went his way. It is an E4. I had an opportunity to talk with Willie Upshaw. He loved the way Andres Perez hit. He was a great person, but that was the problem for Willie. He did not want to bring Andres Perez back as a defensive player, more as a designated hitter. And knowing how many veterans, how many professionals there are on this team, he thought he could do better with the arrangement that he had in March and April. Pitches outside, 1 ball and no strikes, bringing in all the spring training invitees, as well as players looking to get back to affiliated baseball. And Andres Perez just pulled that throw to the first base side. It should be an error, as the next offering is on the outside corner for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. No error has been put up on the board yet, but I am sure that will happen. No hit has been put on the board either. 1 ball and 1 strike to Prentice Redmond. He's 1 for 3 on a single in the first. Struck out since. Pitch yanked. Base hit. Left field between the shortstop and third base hole. The throw comes in from the corner outfielder Stephen Douglas as he delivered the ball to Danny Gonzalez in line with third. After an E4, Prentice Redmond socks a single to left. And Luis Lopez, who's already launched the home run deep to left field in his second at bat in the ball game, moves forward with a chance to bring the Bluefish even more runs. First pitch on its way from the right-hander as the glove is brought up by Hill. First pitch, curveball, twists outside. 1 ball and no strikes. He represents the 12th base hit of the game as the error is put on the scoreboard for the Revolution. 1 ball and no strikes. Runner off of second base is Lopez. Takes a big lead as Lopez finds the hole. The other Lopez. The runners move up 1 base with Pedro stopping at third. Luis picks up his second hit of the game. The bases are chopped for Ramon Vasquez. There is action down the right field line for the second time in the game. We cannot tell who the pitcher is. We do know that the bullpen catcher is receiving tosses from a pitcher down the right field line almost directly. First toss from Sean Hill to Ramon Vasquez in this inning. And he, followed by a single and another single. The pitch settles low. Counted 1 ball and no strikes. Both singles by Prentice Redmond and Luis Lopez have traveled to left field. Vasquez stands in the 1-0. Swung and lifted into the right center field. Intra dunks in for a base hit towards the alley. 2 runs will score. The throw comes into second base. Both Pedro Lopez and Prentice Redmond come to the plate. 10-3. Fish on top. Runners at the corners. Another offensive assault on your pitching tonight. Luis Lopez moved all the way to third base on the play because he interpreted the ball off the bat very well. He knew there was a large area in right center because they were playing Vasquez more towards left center. That's the way that Grimes was angling himself from center field, and because the ball was hit towards right center, Lopez had plenty of time to slide into third base. Brock Peterson 2 for 3 tonight. So much entertainment in the ballpark, only Bluefish fans must be enjoying this one as the first pitch is on the inside third for a called strike. The kids, they're enjoying themselves at the merry-go-round and at their own form of the moon bounce just beyond the left center field wall. But for those who understand the game going on, they must not be too pleased as the shot is sent to right center by Brock Peterson. It probably will score the run as Grimes converges towards right center and makes the play. Sacrifice fly and an RBI as Lopez comes to the dish. It is 11-3 with 3 more tallies from the Bridgeport offense. Sacrifice fly and an F8 for Brock to spring Colin Delhomme to the plate. He came up with a 2-run triple in the 5th inning. 11-3 the score. Pitch. Swung on and driven to deep right center field, but it is playable as Grimes moves back. He's nearing the track and missed. It is gone! What? Yes, he did. Scott Grimes overran the baseball and it hopped over the wall. Scott Grimes chased it back and then overran it by 15 to 20 feet to the right of center. That's the second time that a York Revolution player has either overrun the baseball or lost it in the lights. And that is going to do it for Sean Hill, who just had a nightmare of an outing. This call to the bullpen presented by Prudential Annuities. Prudential Annuities going to bat for our community. Runners at second and third when we return. Colin Delhomme comes up with a double to the right of center that you cannot rule an error. There was no drop of the baseball as the ball hopped over the wall on the warning track 15 feet towards center from where Scott Grimes was angled to the right of center. We'll be back right after this.
The pace of the game, the mascots, the baby, or could it be that what we really want is that baseball reminds us how we can all come out ahead together, just like a good team. At Prudential Annuities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things can happen.
He ran, lost in the lights, and then the ball fell behind him where the finish line was.
And by enabling Prudential Annuities employees to help others volunteer. From conducting mentoring programs and helping homeless shelters to supporting health awareness and food banks, Prudential Annuities is more than a big company in Fairfield. You're a big part of the community, too. Prudential Annuities, going to bat for the community. The Prudential Insurance Company of America, New York, New Jersey, and its affiliates. Prudential Annuities is a business of Prudential Financial.
At Miller Lite, we believe if you're not choosing a light beer with more taste, you need to man up, not man down. Because up is way better than down. You don't tell someone sad that you're down. What's down, door? A steamy pile and you just stepped in it. Your girlfriend's not wearing a push-down bra. It's called gravity, Isaac Nitwit. Can I be down front with you? All this down talk is bringing me down. So don't man down. Man up and choose a light beer with more taste. Triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste great.
They say exactly what I said.
Great beer, great responsibility.
Bluefish Baseball is back on the air. This call to the bullpen presented by Prudential Annuities. Prudential Annuities going to bat for our community. Ian Thomas, the left-hander out of Norfolk, Virginia, 6'4", 210 pounds, has never made it to affiliated baseball. Last year played for Winnipeg in the now defunct Northern League, the American Association, as the first pitch is on its way from the left-hander. First pitch is on its way. But just a description of what happened. Condom scorched the baseball to the right of center. Scott Grimes sprinted after it as the one-out toss is on the inside corner for a called strike. No balls and one strike. Grimes lost it in the lights and simultaneously overran the baseball. It bounced on the warning track and hopped over the crush sign just ahead as the pitch is grounded sharply to third, handled by Nowak. He takes his time as a bluff by Ramon Vasquez go home is unsuccessful. The throw to first is in time. 5-3, 2 men out. "15 base hits for the Fish, but just for everyone's information, one hopped the wall to the right of center as Grimes lost it. The center fielder did. It brings up Eddie Rogers. 2 for 3 today. With 2 men out, lefty-righty situation pitch, fastball. Hits the outside corner, no balls and one strike. That kind of day for the Revolution. First time that the Bluefish are seeing Ian Thomas. All they'd like to see is outs recorded at this point. They just have not pitched today at all. Next offering, inside and low. The count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Did Octavio Martinez make that much of a difference for the York Revolution? He was the battery mate each time for the Revs last season. Go 1-1. Curveball hanging, and it makes a wicked hop down the left field line as Noah could not adjust. 2 runs come to the plate. The Bluefish are now up by 10. It's 13-3. Most likely it is going to be a base hit. Nowak was anticipating a slow rolling hop. It was a crazy bounce that went beyond the belt, about belt high rather than where it was initially at his ankles or even at his calves. Takes that much of a break, and the Bluefish are up by 10. 2 men out, and it brings up the left-handed hitting Kennard Jones. The first pitch is right in there for a strike on the middle of the plate. No balls and 1 strike. 2 men out. Ian Thomas stares in. Next offering, dives to the dirt, could not be blocked by Paniagua. It skips to the right of home plate, and trying for third base is Eddie Rogers. He'll get there. 2 bases, a wild pitch. How often do you see that? Maybe Joey Gathright with his speed. Eddie Rogers is a fast guy. But that took an awfully long time for Paniagua to recover the baseball on the right side. And this is just the demise of the York pitching and defense. Two keys that Willie Upshaw believed were critical for Bluefish success this season. They fielded the ball well, they pitched the ball well. Now their offense picking up the slack pitch, line foul left field. York not doing any of that. They're not hitting well, they're not pitching well, and they're playing poor defense, which is why right now they are in last place in the Freedom Division standings. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Next offering. Kennard did not pull the trigger. Jones evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes, as the pitch fell off the outside corner. Lefty-lefty situation. Jones 1 for 4 tonight. 2-2. Swung on and fouled at the plate as it drifted slightly to the right of the batter's box. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Revolution are hoping for weather at this point, but they are not going to have much success. And Isaac Hess, he's been sitting for a while. Pitchers that tend to sit a while, they may need to build up their arm strength or continue to try to get themselves loose. This innings lasted almost a half an hour. The pitch is inside. No check swing. And it was a ball, 3-2. Kennard Jones represents the 9th batter up in the order this inning. Pedro Lopez would represent the 10th. Here's the 3-2. Swung on and stroked down the left field line, foul well above where the York Revolution fans are sitting. 3-2. There is a concourse that leads to the picnic area down the left field line. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jones stares in. Next offer, swung on and grounded slowly towards the middle. The second baseman, Andres Perez, fielded, fires, scooped up by Ramon Castro to retire the side. Almost another base hit for the Bluefish, but they did plenty of damage in the 6th inning. They scored 6 runs in an inning one time before. That was their season high. They tied their season high by putting 6 runners across the plate. At the end, or rather 5 runners across the plate, at the end of 5 and a half, it is 13-3, Bridgeport on top. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. We'll be back right after this. I am Perry Miles. Terrible.
Best girlfriend ever. It had been a long day, and even longer with. So I headed toward the kitchen for fresh macarons. But after swinging open the fridge, I saw the whole store inside. Not a single cold beverage, not a single Coors Light. I grabbed my keys and it was time to hit the store. But stopped when I heard a knock at the door. It was my girlfriend, Mary Gifts of Coors Light. Best girlfriend ever. And God damn it,
Why do we love baseball? Is it the uniforms, the pace of the game, the mascots, the team, or could be that what we really is that baseball reminds us how we can all come out ahead when we work together, just like a good team. At Prudential Annuities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things can happen. That's why each year,
the Bluefish start off the bottom of the 6th inning with a first pitch strike from Isaac Hess. No balls and 1 strike. Long time for the left-hander to be sitting, as the 0-1 is a curveball that lands over the middle of the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Bridgeport has exploded for 13 runs. And there's no telling how many more that they could potentially score in this game, especially with the ineffectiveness of the pitching as it's slapping to left center field. On the move, Congalone, but Kennard Jones races over there from left field to snag it on the backhand. 1 away. So Kennard Jones makes the put-out in left center towards the alley after grounding out to second base to end that wild 6th inning where the Bluefish scored 5 times. Stephen Douglas flies out to left center. Sets up Ramon Castro. Castro 0 for 2 tonight. Bridgeport ahead by 10. 10 runs. This offense has definitely come to life. And their pitching doing just as well as the first offering is swung on and sent to the backstop. No balls and 1 strike. Castro struck out in the first and grounded out 1-3 in the third. Yesterday the Revolution had expressed their concerns and also expressed aggravation with the way that David Mills was calling balls and strikes. Today, not nearly the case, as the next pitch is sent high, 2 balls, or rather 1 ball and 1 strike. Today, the Bluefish are knocking the daylights out of the ball, and Isaac Hess just has 1 mistake that shows on the scoreboard. Castro skies a high fly to right center. Malone makes the play from center to right center for the second out. He converged in that direction. He called off Prentice Redmond. When I had an opportunity to talk with Prentice today, he said it's all about the communication. They love having fun, but every time it's about the communication, the ability to not hit their friendly outfielders. Because there will be baseballs hit to gaps, and there will always be times where voices may not be heard. That one was clear as DeLome called everyone off. The first pitch lands low. Down at 1 ball and no strikes. Chris Nowak 0 for 2. If you hold the middle of the order, 3 and 4, really, as the pitch is swung on and lifted high in the air deep left, no chance. That ball is way gone. Nowak took an inside offering from Isaac Hess, and that one deposited right across the street. Solo drive by Nowak, his second in 2 games. The Revolution have cut the lead down to 9. It's 13-4. Isaac Hess went 1 too many times to the inside corner and cannot qualify as a result for a quality start. Next batter is Michael Hernandez. Pitch to Hernandez, the right fielder, is on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Revolution never think that the game is over. The fans never think that the game really is over either. The 0-1, fastball upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the crowd has gotten a little bit more into it after the Nowak home run. And the cannon shot off, indicating the home run. 1-1, curveball low, 2 balls and 1 strike. There are other players who said home runs are not the be-all, end-all, which is true. Sometimes teams have to play small ball, bunting for a base hit, advancing a second on a stolen base, advances third, and then score on a sacrifice fly. But you're not going to win games if you just rely on home runs. Home runs are productive. Home runs are helpful. The 2-1 is a fastball that runs high, 3 balls and 1 strike. But it should not be the cure to offensive failure. And York has all of its runs in this series on homers. Next pitch, swung on and pulled foul to the third base side. 3 balls and 2 strikes. was shot by Nowak. The 3-run drive by Shanks. Yesterday, Michael Hernandez and Chris Nowak had 2 2-run drives. All runs scored by York on home runs. That's why Bridgeport has been winning the games, because they have not relied strictly on the home run ball. They've hidden a few. Gotten a couple over the wall over the first couple of games. 3-2. Just low, ball 4. Michael Hernandez takes his base to spring Andres Perez to the plate. Second baseman 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. The trivia question response. Which player from the Bridgeport Bluefish played there the last 2 years after going there from the York Revolution? We had Danny from Danbury say that the player that joined was Louis Rodriguez. Now, granted, he's been at the Park City for quite a while, and he's been around the Atlantic League for quite some time. But that's not the correct answer, Danny. The answer is Colin Roberson. Now playing for the Camden River Sharks, was on the York Revolution for a period of time. The pitch just popped up. Shallow center, Delhomme jogging in, has room, and corrals just to the left of center as the captain of the outfield makes the catch for the final out of the frame. A solo drive by Chris Nowak, a runner stranded as a result of the 2-out walk. At the end of 6, Bridgeport in complete command. 13-4 here on BridgeportBluefish.com. I am Perry Miles.
The YP.com website is your search engine. If you're looking for a good restaurant, it can help you find the right one nearby with ratings and reviews. Or if your car breaks down, you can use the YP app to find the closest repair shop. Or maybe you're just looking for something to do on a Friday night. Well, it has great local coupons for all sorts of things in your area. No matter what, when, or where, if you're looking for something, YP Local Search can help you find it. So go to YP.com or download the app. Search local, find local, and save.
This is Jerry McGriff, pitching coach for the Bridgeport Bluefish, and you listen to Perry Miles on the Bluefish broadcast.
Why do we love baseball? Is it the uniforms, the base of the game, the mascots? Could be. Or could it be that what we really love is that baseball reminds us how we can all come out ahead working together, just like a good team. At Prudential Annuities, we understand that when everyone works together, good things happen. That's why each year we uphold the commitment to helping charitable causes in our community by pitching in financial resources and by enabling Prudential Annuities employees to help others through volunteer work. From conducting mentoring programs and helping homeless shelters to supporting health awareness and food banks, Prudential Annuities is more than a big company in Fairfield County. You're a big part of the company.
Bluefish Baseball is back on the air. All Bluefish on the offensive side today. And Isaac Hess has given Bridgeport 6 innings of 4-run baseball. So he's been able to keep up relative to what his team has provided him in run support. The first pitch is on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. It is Pedro Lopez, Prentice Redmond, and Luis Lopez due up in the frame. 1 strike offering is outside. Ian Thomas, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bridgeport came up last inning and just opened up the game by scoring 5 runs. They've scored 8 runs in each of the last 2 offensive innings as the fastball commanded outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. 5 runs last frame, 3 runs in the 5th, 4 runs in the 2nd. You have 3 crooked numbers for Bridgeport, just 1 for the Revs on a home run. The pitch is smacked, right field, base hit. Pedro Lopez is on base with a single. He reached on an E4 last time. He's been on base 3 times today with those 2 singles. He's 2 for 5 and sends Prentice Redmond to the dish. It is the top of the 7th inning. So no breadsticks for the fans. It was the K-Man. They may want to switch it up a little bit. Redmond is not the K-Man. The K-Man was Pedro Lopez. The next offering is a curveball that fired low. 1 ball and no strikes. We'll get you the Atlantic League scoreboard update quickly as this game moves deeper into the night. Redmond whiffs at a breaking pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lancaster doubling up Sugarland by a score of 4-2. Somerset on top of Southern Maryland 2-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Long Island cruise control. They are up 9-2 against Camden in the top of the 5th. Pitch. Fastball guided to the middle of the plate. Prentice Redmond a bit confused by the call. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It is 13-4 at this venue, Sovereign Bank Stadium, York, Pennsylvania. Bridgeport has had no success here of late, except for yesterday. Pitches outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. They have lost 13 consecutive games heading into yesterday's contest before the Bluefish bats exploded. And they've been dynamite tonight. 13 runs on 17 hits. Prentice Redmond strikes out. What appeared to be a breaking pitch outside. May have been a little bit of a cut. So Redmond strikes out. He represents the first out of the inning. Redmond has the hat trick tonight, but he also has contributed 2 hits to the Bluefish cause. Sets up Luis Lopez. A homer for Lopez to left field, and a single to left field by Lopez last inning as the first pitch slides to the middle of the plate, drops down, no balls and 1 strike. So many great plays in the last inning from the Bridgeport bats as they continue to move on. The 0-1 travels low, 1 ball and 1 strike. This team seems to be more together than they have been in my time as a broadcaster here. The chemistry seems great, and the part about it is they're performing. They get along with each other, and they're performing. Coming to work, going through the grind seems to be much easier than it normally is, as Lopez cleared the zone with his bat. Plenty of professionals led by Joey Gathright and Kennard Jones. Luis Lopez and Luis Rodriguez, the stalwarts on this team. Matt Pike as well. Lopez and Pike named 2 of the top 15 players in Bluefish history, according to the fans. The 1-2. Swung on and poked foul right side. Let's not forget about the players that joined this team. The likes of Jonah Bayless, who made his major league debut at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago when he was a member of the Kansas City Royals. Played with Kansas City and Pittsburgh during his MLB career, and has thrown 6 shutout innings. Pitch, swung on and missed. And he extended that to 7 with a great effort, a couple of nice bat. And Lopez strikes out on the swing and a miss. Pitch outside. And Ramon Vasquez who appeared to be stepping up to the plate, but now it is a pinch hitter for the Bluefish, Darryl Jones. So Ramon Vasquez is pinch hit for. The designated hitter gets pinch hit for. Vasquez has done a great job tonight. 2 walks, a single. Get on base 3 times. doing a solid job. Jones waves and misses. No balls and 1 strike. With the San Angelo Colts last year, 22 homers and a .345 batting average. This year has struggled a bit with outside pitching. Next one, swung on and stroked foul down the right field line. A steady diet of fastballs so far from the left-handed pitcher Ian Thomas. His Achilles heel may be handling the breaking pitch as Paniagua sets up outside. The 0-2, fastball on the corner, strike 3. Jones was expecting a breaking pitch down the count, no balls and 2 strikes, which is why hitters' batting averages are much worse when they're down in that count. And his former manager, Darryl Jones' former manager, had a statistic indicating such. At the end of 6 1/2, 7th inning stretch time, the Bluefish up by 9 runs, 13-4. You're watching Bluefish baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. We'll be right back. Bluefish baseball is back on the air. Perry Miles here. Bottom of the 7th inning is also here as Isaac Hess is on the hill for the Bluefish. The first pitch drifts over the outside corner at the knees. No balls and 1 strike. Shanks 1 for 2, 3-run drive in the second. Pitch. Fastball scooped up by, I believe, Luis Rodriguez. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last night, Rodriguez got a couple of, well, the 9th inning to rest at least. And the catcher was banged up a little bit in the 8th because of a foul ball. He may go all 9 tonight. 1-1 first. Hess steps off the rubber. Angel Flores has done a solid job as well in helping the pitchers out. He has plenty of experience at the AA level. Rodriguez at the AAA level. The 1-1, curveball swung on and lifted high in the air, but will stay in the park as Kennard Jones sprints in after he moved back for a moment to make the catch 1 away. James Shanks had his long home run swing in full force, but he got it right off the end of the bat. And the difference is an 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/4 of an inch on the barrel between home run and fly ball out. And that's the idea for the pitchers to just get it off of the sweet spot on the bat. The first pitch is over the middle, swung on and missed, no balls and 1 strike. If the pitcher is able to do that on a consistent basis, they might find themselves in big league baseball. In the big leagues, very rarely do they hit those pitches out, as the 0-1 is fastball inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Only maybe 3 or 4 times have I seen, personally, where a broken bat or a ball hit off the end of the bat has landed in the seats. The 1-1 from Hess. check swing, went through the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 man out in the bottom half of the 7th inning. We'll give you the Major League update courtesy of ESPN.com. Danny Gonzalez steps out of the batter's box for a moment as he fouls it right off his foot. Cannot believe it. Then he starts to show some emotion out there. He just pointed his fingers at his head. May have started communicating with Paniagua or even the York Revolution dugout. 1-2 on its way from Hess. He fires, swung on and missed, strike 3. Gonzalez down, swinging, 2 away. In the NBA today, the Dallas Mavericks and Oklahoma City Thunder are tied at 47 at the break from Texas. Indiana holds on to defeat Orlando 101-99. Indiana Pacers have a 3-1 series lead. The Clippers, they hold on and win 87-86 at Staples against the Memphis Grizzlies. San Antonio has a chance to go up 3-0 with a set against the Utah Jazz tonight. The curveball spun outside, 1 ball and no strikes. In the NHL, 1 game today. It was very early this afternoon, and the Washington Capitals won by a score of 3-2. Goal about 6 minutes left in the 3rd period. Pitch grounded to 3rd. Lopez handles it for the final out of the inning. 5-3 as he ripped it across to end the 7th. We'll get to the rest of the scores from around Major League Baseball right after this on BridgeportBluefish.com. 13-4, Bridgeport on top.
Baseball and hot dogs and refreshment on ice. Some games are early, some are at night. Airman, baseball, Coors Light. He's the most reliable player in the game. But James is calling his name, so if your team doesn't hit any dingers, you'll have frost brew refreshment and chips going bacon. Frost brew Coors Light. Refreshing Coors Brewing Company, Colorado. We call this one Best Girlfriend Now. It had been a long day. So I headed toward the kitchen, refreshment I could see. But after swinging open the fridge, I saw the most horrific sight. Not a single cold beverage, not a single Coors Light. I grabbed my keys, it was time to hit the store. But stopped when I heard a knock at the door. It was my girlfriend, bearing gifts of Coors Light. Best girlfriend ever? You got that right. Frost brew Coors Light. Refreshing. Coors Brewing Company, Colorado. Right here.
This call to the bullpen, presented by Prudential Annuities. Prudential Annuities, going to bat for our community. Last year, the closer for the Road Warriors was Adam Thomas. He is being brought into the contest because he has not had much work this season. The York Revolution reliever is a power right-handed arm who gave the Bluefish all kinds of troubles a year ago. Adam Thomas, this season, has not given up a run in 3 games, has pitched 3 innings and given up 3 hits. He is the setup man for R.J. Rodriguez, who may get an opportunity to play, as it appears as if I just saw a flash of lightning beyond left field. Last night, it took about an hour to an hour and a half to get to the ballpark at Sovereign Bank Stadium as the first pitch is grounded sharply to third, but handled by Nowak. The throw across is in time, one away. Brock Peterson smoked it down that way, but Nowak was able to pick the ball up. No movement whatsoever with his feet until he grabbed the baseball. 5-3 put out to set up Colin DeLome. Let's get to the Major League Scoreboard update. Courtesy of ESPN.com, especially the locals. Kansas City 3, the New York Yankees nothing, top of the 6th inning from the Midwest. Meanwhile, the Mets defeated the Arizona Diamondbacks today, 4-3. First pitch lands low to DeLome, 1 ball and no strikes. And the Red Sox, they lost to the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore squad, impressive to this point. Pitch lined on 1-hop, snag by Perez on the backhand. He throws to first in time for out number 2. "17 hits for the Bluefish. Even the outs are smoked. That pitch was smacked. Perez had to just back up for a moment to the lip of the outfield grass to be able to handle that ball. As Luis Rodriguez, who's been left out of the hit parade tonight, moves forward. He is 0-for-4 tonight. Not mentioned much about the outfield positioning. That's because York every time seems to be out of position due to the pitcher's inability to keep the ball in the park, or for that matter, limit line drives. Fastball right in the outside corner, no balls, 1 strike. Not to their fault. But York's pitching has been a detriment the entire season compared with their success last year. The 0-1. Inside-out swing that is deposited to the seats. No balls and 2 strikes. Black sky in York, Pennsylvania. Past 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Game started at 6:30. As the 0-2 on the outside corner, Thomas strikes out Luis Rodriguez. The first 1-2-3 of the night for York pitching. At the end of 7.5, it is 13-4 Bridgeport. You're listening to Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
Being located in Fairfield has an unparalleled team of baseball and softball instructors offering private instruction, camps, team training rentals, and best of all, a chance to learn from an all-pro team, including Mike Porzio, former MLB pitcher, and the Bluefish's very own Louis Upshaw. Open 7 days a week. Stop in and meet our team. The call is 283-292-8700. Visit us at clubhousesafety.com. Get to Major League experience.
I think that since I played for the Blues, what I get, it's a product of everything.
Celebrate the game. Celebrate the legacy. Connect with Cooperstown at
The tradition of this game, how important this game is to the fabric of society. It's something I used to bond with my father, and I'll love to sort of teach my kids the history of baseball and
preserving history, honoring history, connecting generations. Connect with Cooperstown at baseballhall.org. Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion.
Baseball is different. It's really the history of the sport means so much. Something we should never forget.
anytime that I've been able.
Thank you.
Great job. Preserving the history of the game.
Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion.
Bluefish broadcast is back. Perry Miles here. This call to the bullpen, presented by Prudential Annuity. Prudential Annuity is going to bat for our community. Isaac Hess's day is over. 4 runs, 4 base hits, 94 pitches for Hess. As the first offering tails to the outside but misses the corner to Scott Grimes. The count at 1 ball and no strikes. 7 innings, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for Hess. And Luis Rodriguez was replaced by Angel Flores behind the dish as the next offering settles low, 2 balls and no strikes. The left-hander on the mound for the second straight night is Jesse English. The 2-0. Fastball misfired high, 3 balls and no strikes. There is still some action down the left field line, although it is light. As one of the catchers, perhaps Michael Morris, is out there trying to warm up the pitchers. He went through some shoulder surgery, which has prevented him from catching to this point and being able to play at this level every day. The 3-0 right down the middle, 3-1. There were a couple of injuries to start the year. In the end, the Bluefish had some capable replacements. He signed Angel Flores, who was a valuable commodity last year for the Barnstormers, as the fastball tails to the corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, he backed up the likes of Alvin Colina, who's now on Camden. Was signed before the season. Let's not forget about Emerson Frostad, guy who was picked up in affiliated ball before he came back here for this season, as Grimes walks to lead off the frame. Jesse English last night increased his ERA from 0 to 4.5 because he was the pitcher who allowed a 2-run shot to Chris Nowak. As Stephen Douglas steps forward, it's the first time that Scott Grimes has reached base tonight, and is the first time that Grimes has reached all series. Fastball delivered on the inside corner on the lefty-lefty matchup. No balls and 1 strike. When the leadoff batter does not get on base, you are not going to score many runs, no matter how productive the bottom of the order is, or the middle. The 0-1 is upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. And to this juncture, just 4 runs for the Revolution in each of the first 2 games, in a ballpark where they've shown now that they have just not been able to pitch well. The 1-1 curveball sinks a little bit higher than the belt, and the ball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. And you can see a couple of bodies down the left field line for the Bluefish, one of them warming up. The other one catching. The 2-1 is yanked foul down the left field line. There aren't as many home runs in this ballpark as you would think there would be. There are some left-handed hitters who can drive the ball. But remember, it's 325 to right and 375 to right center, which is deeper than the ballpark at Harbor Yard, especially with that high wall. Next one is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Stephen Douglas goes down fishing. Came up with hook but no fish. Douglas down. Ramon Castro moves in. Many of the players on the Bluefish enjoy leisure activities, and one of those activities perhaps that will be on the docket is the boxing match with Floyd Mayweather. That's taking place tonight. Of course, that's a much later start, 10:30, as pitches swung on and sent foul right field out of play. No balls and 1 strike. Many people love boxing. Back in the days when Tyson and Holyfield, let's not forget about Muhammad Ali. Back in the day, many people were following the sport. People remember Ali and Frazier, the 0-1. Swung on a sky in the air foul on the right, 0-2. But boxing seems to have made a re-emergence to American culture between light, middle, and heavyweights. The MMA, which is mixed martial arts, seen on TV. And even wrestling, the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Castro goes down with high heat, and he is frustrated. He continues to look down at first base for whatever reason. Marty Bauer is the crew chief. But last night, David Mills was the guy that was calling balls and strikes. Nothing to be upset at him about tonight. It's one thing if you're the hitter and you feel that the calls have been inconsistent all night. But David Mills is nowhere near the plate. He's on the second base side, acting as the third base umpire today. As the next one is swung on and lifted high in the air down the left field line, twisting towards the corner, but it is foul. Chris Nowak nearly came up with his third home run of the series. Blueprint for English. Do not throw inside, especially an inside curveball to Nowak. That's the second straight pitch that a left-handed hitter has tried to dig deep inside the hands of Nowak. And the second time was nearly a charm, the same way the first one was. The first one was smacked over the wall in left center. The 0-1. Swung on and popped up. Flores throws away his mask. He's between home plate and first, but he's called off by Brock Peterson, or rather, the new first baseman for the Bluefish. And I believe, no, it was Brock Peterson who made the play. The final out of the inning. No runs on the board for the Revolution at the end of 8, 13-4. Bridgeport on top of York. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network. I said curveball.
I noticed when that guy made a backhanded slam down there, Bluefish made a good running back.
Yeah.
He should have made that more exciting. It was a real good play.
I honestly thought about that. I'm not saying it was a great catch. I thought it was a great play. I don't think that was fantastic.
A steamy pile and you just stepped on. Your girlfriend's not wearing a push-down. It's called gravity. I should think bringing down front with you. All these down.
You're right on that. I hit you right away.
So don't lay down. Man up and choose a light beer with no taste. Triple Ops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste free. Still a good Illinois, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility. Entitled Coors Light Summer. It's a Coors Light Summer. Hot days all around. Backyard barbecue. It's pretty hot out. Be alright. Because Coors are beautiful. It's Coors Light. Step outside. Skirts the floor. Beer garden for the ball game. That's what's in store. It's gonna be a scorcher, but there's hope in sight. Refreshment awaits for each day. Coors Light. Thank Cross for Coors Light. Refreshing here. Coors Brewing Company, Colorado. Retail user responsibility. At Miller Lite, we know there's only one thing baseball fans love as much as great Pilsner taste, and that's rooting for the home team, because home is way better than away. Away is not where the heart is. Bringing away to bacon? Why? Bacon is delicious. Away is where you hang your hat. You should be hung up by your underpants. So why root for the away team when you can root for the home team? With a great Pilsner taste of Miller Lite. Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste great. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Hey Bluefish fans, have you heard about the clubhouse? Being located in Fairfield has an unparalleled team of baseball, softball instructors offering private instruction, camps, team training, rentals, and best of all, a chance to learn from an all-pro team including Mike Porzio, former MLB pitcher, and the Bluefish's very own Will Upshaw. Open 7 days a week. Stop in and meet our team. Call us 203-292-8700 and visit us at the web at clubhousect.com. Get to Major League experience.
Baseball legend Henry Aaron.
I think that sits out faithfully.
Welcome back to Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish broadcast. Perry Miles here. Bridgeport well out in front, 13-4 in the top of the 9th inning. As the first batter of the frame is Eddie Rogers, it is expected that Kennard Jones and Pedro Lopez will be the next two hitters. Although you may see perhaps Michael Morris take a turn at the plate. He's played second base at times during practice sessions. First pitch is outside, 1 ball, no strikes. And even though he's been a catcher most of his career, some catchers have the ability to play second base, like the former Jorge Posada, who's now retired for the Yankees. Coming up, he was a second baseman in the New York farm system. The 1-0, fastball from RJ, splits to the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rodriguez played in the Mexican League back in 2010, 2011. Very good closer for York and is in his 3rd season with the ball club as the fastball twists outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. You would think that Andy Etchebarren wanted to stop the bleeding, even though it's very late to do so after the 8 runs it scored in the 5th and 6th. They wanted to stop the bleeding. And so far, Bridgeport has not scored in each of the last 2+ innings as Rogers cuts and misses. And each of the last 6 batters have been retired in order, which I guess is a positive for the pitching staff heading into tomorrow's game, with Corey Thurman expected on the hill for the Revolution. He's had success against Bridgeport. 2-2. Swan and lays base hit to left center field. Cutting it off in the gap is Stephen Douglas. It is a single for Eddie Rogers, who is now 4 for 5 on the night. It's almost as if they are taking batting practice at this field. Just taking high fastballs about belt high over the middle of the plate and smoking them to the areas of the ballpark where the defensive players are not occupied. It brings up Kennard Jones. A single and 5 at-bats for Kennard. The next pitch from Rodriguez is outside. You can hear the pop of the glove, but it's only coming in at about 86 miles an hour. RJ last year was throwing 91 and 92 miles per hour. It may take time for some of the pitchers to get their velocity back, as the pitch is nubbed, foul down the left field line. Nearly struck across the third base bag, which would have been a fair ball. The best form of hitting for Kennard is to try to slap the ball to the left center field gap, which is why Scott Grimes, the center fielder, is angled more towards left center than he is towards right center. Pitch. Fastball on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Entering this game, Bridgeport had the 2nd highest batting average in the league to Lancaster. After tonight, they may be number 1 as the 1-2 settles low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The York Revolution batting .192 through the first 8 games. And they only have 4 hits tonight. That average is going to get worse. Next pitch was outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 9:17 on the East Coast at Sovereign Bank Stadium. 2 hours west of Philly. 3-2. Swung on and missed. Jones strikes out. He's one of the few players that has had a relatively unsuccessful game. He's now 1 for 6 Luis Rodriguez is 0 for 5. The rest of the Bluefish players have been doing a number on the York pitching staff. This is not a season high allowed for the Revolution. They gave up 15 against the River Sharks just 2 nights ago. Pitches outside and gets by. Eddie Rogers moves over to second. Pedro Lopez at the plate. Bridgeport has one more game against York. It is in the early evening hours tomorrow. 5 o'clock start, 4:40 for the pregame from Sovereign Bank Stadium. And then the trip takes them to Southern Maryland. Pitch inside, hit him. Pedro Lopez winces in pain as he drops the bat and tries to walk it off. It looks gruesome at first because of the way that he shook his hand. He's staring down at his left hand as he jogs down to first. That is going to swell up a bit, and you wonder whether or not he's going to be in pain to not be able to play perhaps tomorrow. Right now, the adrenaline has taken over, so he'll be able to play perhaps another inning. But then he's going to sleep overnight, and it will definitely swell up. No question about that. The 1-out toss is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Left arm of Pedro Lopez swinging like a pendulum. He's now at first base. Prentice Redmond, 2 hits tonight. 3 strikeouts as well. Pitch, fastball over the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. So he's 2 for 5. Redmond last night scalded a 2-run shot, almost as deep as the home run that James Shanks hit today, as the pitch is a line drive grounded to short. Lost the second run on the first double play. It was a 1-hop over to Danny Gonzalez, who rotated over to Andres Perez before Ramon Castro finished it off at the first base bag. Last licks for York. They're down by 9. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
Weekend that never happened. The ultimate Vegas weekend for you and a buddy. Just collect Miller Lite taste points for your chance to win one of 100 Vegas trips being given away this summer for the big weekend. So grab Miller Lite and seize the summer at tastepoints.com. It's that easy, and it never happened. It's Miller time. No purchase necessary. Open to legal U.S. residents 21 or older. Void in California. Where prohibited. Sweepstakes begins 5/12 and ends 8/12. For details, how to win, or complete official rules, go to tastepoints.com. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility. Miller time. Don't check your wrist or follow up with your supervisor, because Miller time has nothing to do with winning and everything to do with me. Miller Lite is brewed for the guys you're proud to call your brothers. We'll always talk you out of getting that phone call. Never talk during your backswing. You've got your brothers and the light beer that tastes like a beer should. It's not just a beer time. It's Miller time. Bring beer for responsibility. Miller time. It's a rally. Right?
The guy that won 10 games last year was starting rotation. I believe that's Raymar Diaz. Very tall, very lean. I can't see the teal numbers. What numbers? Can you? He's not even on your roster.
Nice.
What?
That looks that's weird. Michael Morris was placed on inactive. That's why he's not on there.
What's that?
Michael Morris was placed on inactive, so Diaz is the 27th guy.
Sorry about
best
that.
girlfriend ever. It had been a long day, and an even longer week, so I headed toward the kitchen with refreshment I could see. But after swinging open the fridge, I saw the most horrific sight. Not a single cold beverage, not a single Coors Light. I grabbed my keys. It was time to hit the store, but stopped when I heard a knock at the door. It was my girlfriend, bearing gifts of Coors Light. Best girlfriend ever? You got that right, across the
Bluefish baseball is back. The first pitch from Raymar Diaz is a fastball upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Raymar Diaz was one of the few Bluefish pitchers to win 6 straight decisions to start his Bluefish career. The next pitch is inside. The count at 2 balls and no strikes. Raymar Diaz is 6 feet 7 inches tall, very lean. And when I stand next to him, he looks at least a foot taller, maybe even 2. For all I know, I could have shrunk the next day. 2 balls, no strikes becomes 3-0 on the outside. I'm only 5'5", 5'6". Perhaps he was growing like a bean and I was falling down more to the ground. 3-0 from Diaz, right on the outside corner, 3 balls and 1 strike. 10 wins, 1 loss for Diaz last year. And his ERA was in the mid-4s. The tall right-hander winds and kicks. Pitch swung on and served deep left center field. No chance. That ball is gone. Off the merry-go-round top. And it's a solo drive for the York Revolution's Michael Hernandez, his second home run of the series. He has 2 hits tonight. The York Revolution blows the gap to an 8. That pitch was up in the zone from Diaz. He is not accustomed. He has not pitched at all this season. And he was projected to be in the starting rotation because of his success last year. But Diaz is more of a change-up, slider-sinker kind of guy. As the fastball tails to the inside corner, no balls, 1 strike. He might struggle early. But once his arm gets into the condition he needs it to, he'll be in great shape because that ball is going to go down in the zone. Pitch is a jam shot, numbered to second, charging in. Pedro Lopez, he cannot make the play. It is a base hit. Eddie Rogers could not make the play. It's an infield single to second base by Andres Perez, the second baseman for York. Sends up James Shanks. Raymar Diaz, 2 hits allowed. Shanks, a 3-run shot in the second inning. Flew out in the 4th to left field. Another fly out to left in the 7th as the next pitch swerves low. 1 ball, no strikes. Did not know where that pitch was. York's pitching had been outstanding throughout the game, especially considering how prolific their offense was as Diaz throws the ball off. The catcher, Angel Flores, well outside. That's a I believe that is a stolen base, because Flores was getting up out of his crouch to try to throw the ball, even in a game like this. All Perez was trying to do was to eliminate the fielder's choice. There is a meeting of the minds for now between Flores and Diaz. As that conversation ends, James Shanks about to step up one more time. Danny Gonzalez will have a shot in this inning to hit. After that, nobody else knows as the York Revolution crowd gets up on their feet. The next pitch sways to the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bridgeport sent a SWAT team in there trying to hit against the Revolution, and that SWAT team came up successful. The 2-1 swung on it and foul tipped into the glove. 2 balls, 2 strikes. York's really benefited off home runs. All their runs have scored on home runs in this series. All 9. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Diaz stands in. Pitch. Check swing. Did he go? No, says the first base umpire, Marty Bauer, located between first and second. That was awfully close. From this angle, it was at least going to be a questionable call. It appeared as if the batter went around. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Diaz deals, swung on and popped up down the right field line. Angling towards the seats, Brock Peterson. It falls about 4 rows back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Shanks remains alive. Bottom of the 9th inning. Diaz set as he stares in for the sign. Glove up. 3-2. Check swing, dribbler over towards third base. Lopez charges in front of the shortstop, Pedro Lopez, and makes the play at first. A 5-3 and held Andres Perez over at the bag. The fans booing, but that was the smart play. You do not want to risk in a 13-5 game moving to third base when that run doesn't even come close to mattering. That run has no importance. Maybe if there were 5 or 6 more base runners that reached and a few runs scored, then maybe that future run would matter. But York needs to commit as few errors as possible. They made so many mental and physical mistakes over the first few games. Fastball runs high, 1 ball and no strikes. That would have been a crazy notion for Perez to have advanced to third. The 1-0. Swung on and served out of play to the left field area. Into the seats, 1-1. 13 runs on 18 hits, 5 runs on 6 base hits for York. This is the Bluefish Broadcast Network. 1-1. Swung on, drilled foul down our right field line. Diaz gets ahead in the count at a ball and 2 strikes. There are several right-handers out of the bullpen. Jorge Julio's not pitched since opening night. Can Stange, Toby Stoner. Well, Toby Stoner's not a reliever. He's a starter. Pitches high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There are now 4 players out of the bullpen. Let's not forget, Michael Morris was inactive as the 2-2. Swung on and chopped on the ground to the left side. The shortstop, Pedro Lopez, throws to first in time for out number 2. Andres Perez advances to third. The Bluefish did not care about getting Perez into a rundown at that moment. That runner at third base on the 6-3, Salvador Paniagua, represents potentially the final batter of this game. Bridgeport dominant throughout the night. Got out to a 4-0 lead. That lead was decreased and the pitch is smacked deep left center field. That was gone. 2-run drive, Salvador Paniagua. And the home run brigade continues for the Revolution. They might be warming up. It is 7 as more of the cannon shot from right center, but their pitching is less than desirable at this point. Diaz really unable to keep the ball down, and Paniagua punished it. No chance for Colin Delhomme. And Raymar Diaz, considering this is the first time that he's pitching, off to a rough start in 2012. There have been other players that have gotten off to rough starts for Bridgeport. The 2-out pitch slides over the middle. Missed the strike zone. 1 ball, no strikes. There is nobody warming up in the Bluefish bullpen as Diaz tries to work out the ins and the outs. The next pitch slides low. 2 balls and no strikes. Bridgeport down to the final out of the game. If they win, this is the first time they would have won a series here since 2010. Fastball travels high. 3 balls and no strikes. They did not win a series at this venue last year. They did not even win a game at this venue last year. 0-9 at Sovereign Bank Stadium. And much of it had to do with the home run ball as well as the small ball. 13-7, the count. Pitch. Diaz walks him. Does that walk facilitate Willie Upshaw make a decision about who to bring or who to warm up in the bullpen as Upshaw makes his way a slow walk to the mound? It's been a seamless transition for many of the Bluefish pitchers. And last year for Raymar Diaz, he experienced the same. But his second go-around against some of the teams with decent talent, York certainly has not displayed that talent for the first couple of games pitching the baseball, but they have done it through the long ball as there's action brewing down the right field line. You cannot tell from this angle, it is a right-handed pitch. It could be Joe Bateman. Or it could be Jonah Bayless. I have to figure out who it is down in that corner if there is a pitching change. If there's no pitching change, it means that Raymar Diaz probably got out of the inning without any further trouble as Stephen Douglas moves in. Grimes walked for the second time in the game. He stands at first base. The 2-out toss is a fastball high. 1 ball, no strikes. Raymar has not been able to throw with as much velocity or much location the way that he was expected to as the next pitch fired over the outside corner, 84. Last year he was reaching 88 miles an hour on a consistent basis. A guy like him, he needs to be able to locate the pitches low. 1-1. Just off the corner, 2-1. A 3-run ninth inning for York, but it may be too little too late for the Revolution. Remember this too, Bridgeport got some of their hitters some opportunities tonight. The 2-1 races away, 3 balls and 1 strike, and you would have to think if Raymar Diaz loses Stephen Douglas, Ramon Castro would be his last batter if this one were not. 3-1. Swung on it, missed. High cheese, only at 84 miles an hour. Stephen Douglas was trying to put that in the 325 seats in the picnic area, the right field picnic area. 3-2 the count. Flores sets in, the runner goes, pitches inside, ball 4. Another walk by Diaz. And the Revolution's still alive. Ramon Castro, who missed hitting a couple of home runs yesterday by maybe a 16th of an inch on the bat. 2-out toss in the dirt. Swing and a miss. No balls and 1 strike. This is more interesting than what the Bluefish had planned for, especially when they were up by 9 runs to start the bottom of the 9th. Raymar Diaz must battle. The 0-1 to Castro. Slips outside. He's not going to get the same calls that Isaac Hess, nor the first reliever out of the bullpen, Jesse English, was able to get, because they were able to establish the strike zone early in the count. 1-1. Way inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Bluefish have had their horror stories at this venue for a very long time, since York came into the league, but that might do it. Pop up right side of the infield. Flores throws his mask away and makes the catch. The ball game is over. York scores 3 in the 9th, but Bridgeport wins 13-7. The post-game show comes to you right after this on BridgeportBluefish.com with me, Harry Miles.
Americans are fascinated. Summer security feels like nuts. Baseball and hot dogs, freshman rice, Sunday church, summer at night, the long ones of beer, ice, college life. He's the most reliable player in the game. He takes discoveries and answers. We'll have dogs, freshman, tips, don't take them. Frosted Coors Light, fresh and deep, was not going to go drink it. That's what they're doing. I call this one best girlfriend ever. It had been a long day and an even longer week, so I headed toward the kitchen with freshman I could see. But after swinging into the fridge, I saw the most perfect sight. Not a single cold beverage, not a single Coors Light. I ran my keys. It was time to hit the store. I stopped when I heard a knock at the door. It was my girlfriend. Very decent Coors Light. Best girlfriend ever. You got that right. Frosted Coors Light. Fresh and deep. We're still going to go
At Miller Lite, we believe if you're not choosing a light beer with more taste, you need to man up, not man down. Because up is way better than down. You don't tell someone sad that you're down. What's down, dog? A steamy pile and you just stepped in it. Your girlfriend's not wearing a push-down bra. It's called gravity, Isaac Midway. Can I be down front with you? All this down talk is bringing me down. So don't man down, man up, and choose a light beer with more taste. Triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
It's Coors Light Summer. It's a Coors Light Summer. Hot days all around. Backyard barbecues are ready to be found. It gets pretty hot out. It'll be alright because Coors are nice. Step outside, skirt to the door. Your garden for the ball game, that's what's in store. It's going to be a scorcher, but there's good sight. Refreshment awaits. Frosted Coors Light. Make Frosted Coors Light. Fresh and deep. We're still going to
At Miller Lite, we know there's only one thing baseball fans love as much as great Pilsner taste, and that's rooting for the home team. Because home is way better than away. Away is not where the heart is. Bringing away to bacon. Why? Bacon is delicious. Away is where you hang your hat. You should be hung up by your underpants. So why root for the away team when you can root for the home team? With that great Pilsner taste of Miller Lite. Triple hops, Jason Reeves, Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Hey Bluefish fans, have you heard about the clubhouse? Being located in Fairfield has an unparalleled team of baseball, softball instructors offering private instruction, camps, team training rentals, and best of all, a chance to learn from an all-pro team, including Mike Coors, MLB pitcher, and the Bluefish's very own Lou Youngstraw. Open 7 days a week. Stop in and meet our team. The call is 203-292-8700. Visit us at the web at clubhousect.com to get information on the experience.
I think that since I played for it's about it. Other building.
Celebrate the game. Celebrate the legacy. Michael Gossett talks about the baseball.
tradition of this game, how important this game is to the fabric of society. It's something I used to bond with my father, and I'll love to my kids.
Preserving history, honoring it, connecting generations. With Cooperstown at baseballhall.org. Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion.
Baseball is different in a lot of ways where the history of the sport means so much. Something we should never forget that make a Hall of Fame every way around.
Time that I visited, just by playing this
Great job. Preserve it. Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion. Connect with Cooperstown at baseballhall.org. Jimmy Rollins talks about the Baseball Hall of Fame.
This band is the same place that all these great ball players, reside at, man. Their careers and their finest stats, their jerseys, and have something of mine. That is something that anybody can go to.
Preserving
We welcome you back to the Bluefish Broadcast Network. Perry Miles here for the post-game show. The Bluefish emerged with a 13-7 victory at Sovereign Bank Stadium in York, Pennsylvania. The Bluefish came up with 4 runs in the second inning, courtesy of a 3-run double from Eddie Rogers, and then an RBI single to center for Pedro Lopez, making it 4-0. James Shanks, 3-run drive in the second inning to make it 4-3 for York. Before Luis Lopez smacked a home run to left field to make it 5-3. Bridgeport increased that lead, courtesy of Colin DeLoma, 2-run triple in the 5th inning to make it stay at 7-3. Eddie Rogers doubled to right of center to make it 8-3. And then Bridgeport clobbered York in the 6th inning with 5 runs, a 2-run single, courtesy of Ramon Vasquez with the bases loaded. Let's not forget about the runners at the corners. Brock Peterson, a sacrifice fly. DeLoma, ground rule double to set runners at second and third. And then a single to third base by Eddie Rogers once more, as the Bluefish were able to score 2 runs on that play. Bluefish win by a score of 13-7. The final run scored by the Revolution came. One of them came on a home run by Chris Nowak in the 6th, and then 3 in the 9th inning, courtesy of a Michael Hernandez solo drive to left, and a 2-run drive by Salvador Paniagua to left center. But the Bluefish were able to escape the jam, courtesy of Raymar Diaz, getting the final out of the frame. Isaac Hess was his first game in York. 7 innings of 4-run baseball, gave up just 4 hits. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, Jesse English in a shutout inning and a walk with 2 Ks. Raymar Diaz an inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks allowed. Hess picks up his 2nd victory of the year. He's 2-0. Novoa picks up the loss. He is 0-1. 3 1/3, 5 runs, 8 hits, and a walk, 2 strikeouts. Hauser, 2/3 of an inning. Sean Hill, an inning and a third. 7 hits and 8 runs allowed by Hill with 1 walk. Ian Thomas, an inning and 2/3, 2 hits and 3 strikeouts. Thomas and R.J. Rodriguez, Adam Thomas and R.J. Rodriguez, 2 innings combined with a hit and 2 strikeouts. Every player on the Bluefish had hits except for Louis Rodriguez, Anel Flores, and Darrell Jones, who played today. Bernard Jones, 1 for 6. Lopez, 2 for 5 with a run. Redmond, 2 out of 6 with a run. Luis Lopez, 2 for 5, 2 runs and an RBI. Darrell Jones, 0 for 1. Vasquez, 1 for 2, 3 RBI and 2 runs scored. Brock Peterson, 2 hits, 2 runs, and an RBI. Delhomme, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 RBI. Eddie Rogers, 4 for 5, 1 run, 6 RBI for the shortstop. That is one of the best games that Rogers has ever had in a Bluefish uniform, or for that matter, in his career. When we come back on the Bluefish postgame show, we'll close out with the Major League scores and the Atlantic League scores to tell you where the Bluefish will be and how far ahead this team is. Stay tuned. You're watching Bluefish Baseball on the Bluefish Broadcast Network.
It's not too late to join Davey and all of his friends by becoming a member of the Bluefish Snappers Club. The Snappers Club is the newest club for all the biggest or littlest Bluefish fans. As a member of the Snappers Club, you'll not only get free entrance on Snappers Club Day, but you'll also get a membership card to show all of your friends, plus a special t-shirt that will tell everyone you're a member of the club. After each Sunday home game, Baseball Punch members will also be invited onto the field to run the bases, just like the Bluefish do. You'll even receive a newsletter that will fill you in on all of your favorite Bluefish players, along with all the news that BB Snappers Club has to offer. To join the coolest club around, call 203-345-4800 or go to bridgeportbluefish.com/kids/snappers to become a member of BB's Snappers Club.
Shark Tooth, Screwdriver, golf team from the golf trip that you never went golfing on. Grilled pork, tuna pork, pork fork, drumsticks, a motel key. Let's not talk about the motel key. Needle nose pliers, a spark plug, a domino, a house key. There's lots of things you can use to open the new Miller Lite Punch Top can, but you always get the same thing: a smooth pour with less club. However you punch it, it's Miller time. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion.
Baseball is different in a lot of ways, where the history of the sport means so much. And it's something we should never forget. I think the Hall of Fame at the way we're talking today.
Anytime that I've visited, it's just like you can do a great job preserving the history of the game. Celebrate the game. Celebrate the passion. Connect with Cooperstown at baseballhall.org.
Behind everything you're searching for is something you're actually looking for. When you flip through the weird yellow pages for a moment, you're actually looking to reclaim your home from a renegade faucet. It's not just getting directions to a tailor with YP.com. It's looking your best friend here. It's more than finding a mechanic with YP.com at home. It's getting your road trip back on track. Whatever it might be, it's the search of always to find exactly what you're looking for. The weird yellow pages, YP.com, and YP.com on your home.
Shark Tooth, Screwdriver, Skeleton Key, golf tee from the golf trip that you never went golfing on. Grilled pork, tuning fork, pork fork, the lucky fishing lure you snagged Alan with. Sorry, Alan. Drumsticks, chopsticks from the place you met that Dallas-based flight attendant. A motel key. Let's not talk about the motel key. A spark plug, a domino, a house key. How do these things make Miller Lite from a can even better? Find out May 2012. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
A sizzling, succulent filet mignon, scrumptious semi-Florentine, savory twin grilled pork chops. Getting hungry? You're taking away to the Park City Grill, Fairfield County's elegant new dining spot in the beautifully renovated Bridgeport Holiday Inn. Comfortable, warm, and inviting, Park City Grill offers a world-class dining experience at reasonable prices. Come to the Park City Grill, 1070 Main Street in the Bridgeport Holiday Inn. Take I-95 exit 27A to exit 2. Plenty of free, secure parking.
The Gear Shop at the ballpark at Harbor Yard is your one-stop shop for everything Bluefish. Take a break from the action and check out all your Bluefish souvenir favorites. From men's and women's t-shirts and a wide selection of off-road and other trendy hats, to Fear the Fin rally towels, team photos, and commemorative baseballs. The Gear Shop has it all. Don't forget about our kids' wear section, skateboard jerseys, even your own stuffed BB the Bluefish, and more. The Bluefish Gear Shop is located on the third base side of the concourse level at the ballpark in Harbor Yard and is open on game day. Come and browse all your favorite Bluefish apparel from an hour before the first pitch until the final half is made. Can't make it to the ballpark on game moments. Want to see where your Bill County professional baseball team? Then check out the new Bluefish online store at bridgeportbluefish.com or call 245-4800 to schedule an appointment. The Bluefish Gear Shop, perfect gifts for all ages and all sizes. Located at the ballpark at Harbor Yard, 500 Main Street, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
I want you to win the greatest weekend that never happened. The biggest weekend for you and the money. Just collect Miller Chase points for your chance to win one of 100 biggest big weekend. So grab Miller Lite and seize the summer at casepoints.com. It's that easy. And it happens. It's Miller time. No purchase necessary. Up to U.S. residents 21 or older, 20 California, and where prohibited. Food Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility. Because the time is not everything we do. Think about this weekend, guys. We'll always talk you out of getting that. Turn your back square. You got your brothers and light here that tastes like a beer shot. It's not just gonna be done. It's a long time. It's a rally cry to the men around you. The ones that have become your brothers. Call to beers at your left.
Order me a Miller Lite, I'll be there in 10.
The night when your crew gets down, fantastic. But they may not involve running tables, surrounding and firing up the grill. Getting the band back together. Just a good choice word, spoken to the right man.
We welcome you back to the Bluefish Broadcast Network. Perry Miles here for the post-game show. Bridgeport crushed York early and gave up 3 runs in the 9th inning, but still held on to win by a score of 13-7. Let's take a look at the scores from around the rest of the Atlantic League. The Lancaster Barnstormers lead the Sugarland Skeeters 6-5. That in the top of the 9th, about a half an hour away. Somerset Patriots 3, Southern Maryland Blue Crabs nothing, which means that the Bridgeport squad will probably be 2 games ahead of Southern Maryland and Long Island for first place in the Liberty Division. Southern Maryland, if they don't score, they'll go down once more. Top of the 9th inning from TD Bank Ballpark. Long Island cruising against Camden 13-5 in the top of the 9th inning. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the scores from around the world of Major League Sports. Oklahoma City holding on to a 3-point lead against Dallas in the Western Conference quarters. 4:05 to go, 4th quarter. The Thunder lead that series 3-0. Indiana held on to a 101-99 victory against Orlando. The final overtime, the Pacers up 3-1. The Clippers hang on and beat Memphis 87-86. The San Antonio Spurs and Utah Jazz taking place tonight at 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, NHL hockey caps down the Rangers 3-2. That series tied at 2 apiece. And in Major League Baseball, several scores final. The Red Sox down by the Baltimore Orioles 8-2. The Mets hold off the Arizona Diamondbacks 4-3. Meanwhile, the New York Yankees, they were in action against the Kansas City Royals. They still are, but they're down 5-1 in the top of the 8th inning with a runner at first. Other scores going, or other games going on right now. Texas and Cleveland tied at 2, end of 10. Tampa Bay and Oakland 9-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Colorado 8 and Atlanta 5 from Denver, top of the 6th inning. Miami 1 and San Diego nothing in the bottom of the 6th. The Angels won. The Toronto Blue Jays nothing still. No sight of an Albert Pujols home run trot. One of the longest stretches of his career, and it's conceivable that he will achieve the longest stretch of his career without a home run being hit. It's 104 at-bats. He's at 103. Minnesota, Seattle, scoreless, top of the 4th. Dodgers beat the Cubs today 5-1. Washington, a 7-1 winner against Philadelphia. The White Sox 3, the Detroit Tigers 2. Other scores, San Francisco defeats Milwaukee 5-2. Houston, an 8-2 winner against the St. Louis Cardinals. Pittsburgh 3 and Cincinnati 2. The final score from the ballpark at Sovereign Bank Stadium, Bridgeport wins 13-7. Just for the Pujols watch, the Angel Star was given the day off today because he's slumping so badly. Lots of players tend to take that time because if they are not hitting as well as they should, the swing tends to break down, their confidence begins to decrease, and Pujols get an opportunity to take a breath for the time being. 13-7 the score here. We'll be back tomorrow night on the air. A 5 o'clock first pitch from Sovereign Bank Stadium. 4:40 for the pregame show here on BridgeportBluefish.com. Starting pitchers are Gilbert De La Vara, the left-hander for the Bridgeport Bluefish. Let's not forget about Corey Thurman. Gilbert De La Vara has not won a game yet. He's also not been the loser in any game yet this season. High ERA for Gilbert De La Vara. Meanwhile, you have Corey Thurman, who's 0-1 ERA in the sixes, as those two combatants take the field tomorrow for the two teams. Bridgeport's won the first two. They hope to sweep the Revolution tomorrow night, and they can do it. So tune in on BridgeportBluefish.com for the latest about this game, and also the latest about any news stories or anything regarding the Bluefish. You can also purchase tickets online by going to the Bridgeport Bluefish website. For Perry Miles, myself, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow.